3 seconds in, man. Where's the intro?
Intro. Intro. Okay, so
that's the intro. We just say intro.
Yeah, intro.
Here we are.
Intro.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh God, the ASMR.
Welcome back to the Bonsai Movie Crew. I'm your host this week, Joseph, and then we are here with Karen and Matt, as per usual.
Hello.
But apparently we're gonna change it up. So
Yeah, so next week Karen will be hosting because it'll be her pick. So, and then I think we're gonna start doing it that way. We're gonna change.
10 episodes in, we haven't got our we're still testing
we're still working
things.
out the course, man. We're working things out, and I think that's a good idea because it kind of gives everybody. It doesn't seem like it's my show; it's everybody's show.
I will say that the bonus episode I did like hosting that. I thought it was cool.
It's fun. It's fun to do, it's fun to do stuff like step away from the movie reviews every once in a while and do something different is fine. That's probably a good idea. You set that down.
I kind of wanted to take it away from you, but you're a grown ass man,
Yeah.
so like I don't want to be your
I
mother.
shouldn't have to smack your hand and say no, Matt. This week we are talking about Barbarian, but before we get into that,
I just want to say one thing about Barbarian.
Not yet. Hold it.
Just save it, bud.
Hold it.
Save
like
it.
this.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold your breath. Not really, but.
Yeah, don't turn it or anything.
So we got a little bit to go over here for some news. It's not even really news anymore. It's more like movie trailers and things of that sort. So there's a trailer out for Guardians of the Galaxy a holiday special.
Really?
And it's funny that we were just talking about Kevin Bacon before the show started.
Yeah.
Because it's about the Guardians coming to Earth. Because Peter is like Star-Lord is like down about it being like Christmas and stuff, and they want so Drax and them go down to Earth to catch the legendary Kevin Bacon.
I love Kevin Bacon.
I know. So like the whole point is that they're trying to bring Kevin Bacon to Star-Lord to meet Kevin Bacon.
That's amazing. Actually.
So I'm like, okay, that sounds.
I might
like
actually watch that.
I was like,
one.
that actually sounds like a pretty fun fucking
right.
Like, so because it shows them like chasing, like Drax busts through his door. He's like, "Are you the legendary Kevin Bacon?" And then he's like, next thing you know, is like chasing him through the streets and shit.
You know, Kevin Bacon said in an interview or whatever one time that the one role he really loved playing was in Tremors, and like
he didn't used to say that,
right? And that's my thing. Like, I'm like, well, you can't really say that now, buddy, because you had plenty of times to reprise the role. Like, I mean,
yeah, he actually used to hate. I'm pretty sure he used to hate that role back.
Yeah.
Back whenever the movie came out and stuff.
Well,
I
guess now that the point he was trying to make was that he loved playing the role and he loved the fun.
Yeah.
The fun he had doing it.
I think that stars do that sometimes. They don't like a role until all of their fans are like, but
no,
why?
I think he always liked the role. It was the movie he had a problem with. Like,
maybe. I know
the
Tremors has garnered more of a cult following.
I love Tremors.
I've always loved Tremors ever since I was a kid.
The first one was amazing.
It's got some crap ones though.
Oh well,
they're
yeah.
all crap
the sequels are.
Yeah.
I mean, the
I've
second
watched
one.
them.
I mean, the second one was okay.
It's not bad, but the
I've
first
watched-
one's gold.
Yeah.
I've watched them, but
Yeah, I've seen every single
because
one.
now
I
a
haven't
lot of
seen every single one.
now after like 2 or 3, most of them are just about the gun guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bert. Yeah. Okay, so next up, there's a trailer out for a movie called Plane with Gerard Butler.
I like that guy.
Is it about a plane?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Like about these
How do they
motherfucking
come?
snakes on this
How do they
motherfucking
come
plane?
up with him, man?
Yeah,
how do they do it? I don't know.
I did see a little picture of a guy talking about the new Fallout show that's coming.
Matt, I might be able to help
did
you
you?
with Barbarian, by the way, because I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah.
Go on. I looked it up especially for
Hey,
you,
don't
sweetheart.
feel bad,
Thank
man.
you.
I've got my pet peeves about this movie too.
No, we're not going. We're not going
Yeah,
there
all
yet.
right.
I just know what his beef is.
Okay. Specifically,
Specifically.
Plane don't look bad. It looks like it's like a movie where I guess they land on some islands. I don't know where, but it's like overrun by some kind of cartel. and he's trying to save all of the survivors of the plane crash and blah blah blah. And there's also a convicted killer on the plane that works with him to save these survivors.
Interesting.
So it looks good. I'll probably check it out.
It does sound kind of, yeah.
There's a new movie from starring Tom Hanks coming out called A Man Called Otto. It looks like maybe one of those kind of family movies, sort of.
That he's
but
been
apparently,
doing a lot of lately.
Yeah, right. That's pretty much all he does. So about some family moving in across the street from him or something, and he's like this really. He puts me in the mind of like, what's his fucking name? Oh man, good, the bad, ugly. What's his name?
I'm not very good with Western. It's Western, right?
Yeah,
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
The one with him in Gran Torino.
Oh,
you ever see Gran Torino?
Yeah, I've seen Gran Torino.
So he puts me in the mind of him, only less racist for one, and also
that movie I heard was a racist masterpiece.
It was
a racist masterpiece.
Not so much I heard that they threw so many racial slurs.
It was.
They did, but they were all about. They're all about the Asians, not you know.
It was like It was like
called
American
them zipper heads and everything else. Man.
Yeah, it was like
Jesus
American
Christ.
History X without the redemption.
I mean, there was a redemption.
Sort of.
There was
Yeah.
a
Well, but
my mom bought a Clint Eastwood thing, and it has that movie in it. And I haven't watched it. My dad liked that movie, but I think it was just because of the Gran Torino. But he also liked Clint Eastwood. But I watched a movie with Clint Eastwood called The Mule. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I seen that. It was okay. That was actually based on a true story.
Yeah.
It was all right.
Have you ever seen it, Karen? No.
Probably.
It's just Clint Eastwood, and he he's got divorced, I think, and he's losing all of his money because he runs like a little organic place.
Yeah,
shop.
Yeah.
So he starts muling drugs.
Muling drugs.
Yeah, I've seen
they
that.
don't suspect him because he's this old guy and he always does the speed limit.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he gets caught, and they try to get him out of going to prison, but he just goes, no, I'll do the time. Which I liked because I was like, oh, he shouldn't have to go to prison. But then I was like, no, because he's taking accountability for what he did.
Yeah, I mean he did wrong.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's what I like because nowadays nobody does that. Nobody takes accountability for anything they've done wrong anymore.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah.
So those are the movies that I saw. I don't know if there's any other trailers out. Honestly, I wrote this up right before we came over for the podcast.
We talked
now,
about.
Are we still doing our own segments when we're hosting? Like you're still doing news and I'm still doing trivia and all that stuff? Because I think that should stay the same. My opinion.
Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. Everything would be the same except for essentially who's running the questions, who does like the review stuff.
Yeah. The
shit like that.
Yeah.
The stuff that pretty much is for the movie.
Sure.
You know, the hosting duties for the movie.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's pretty much all I have in the way of. I didn't really check into. I hate looking into movie news, man, because it's hard for me to keep up with it anymore.
I can help.
So, but like I can keep up with trailers and shit like that, and we were doing where we would talk about stuff coming out.
I don't usually look at entertainment news. I look at real news, and I don't even I take everything I read on the news with a big grain of salt.
I know that they got the Cabinet of Curiosity releasing weekly on Netflix. So if anybody's interested in that,
what is that?
It's Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that, but like, what is it about?
It's an anthology series.
Oh,
is it?
Every episode will be something different. Well, none of them's Guillermo del Toro. I don't know that he directs any of them, but I know he has a host of directors coming in.
Yeah,
I think he's producing it. And his name, his name's attached to it. So
I've seen a little thing about it a while back, but I didn't remember anything.
There's one about rats. I think that's out first. I'm not sure which one's out. So
yeah, I don't know. I know I want to watch it.
Anyway, let's move on to what everybody's been watching.
I want to start off with I finished that show, The Glades.
Oh yeah.
Not happy with the ending at all because at the end the guy gets shot, the black man guy gets shot, and they don't let you know who. And he basically at the end he is dying in his own pool of blood. No season 5.
Yeah, that's how they do it.
No, they should have a movie. Finish it up, round it up.
But the guy who said that he like directed, he said he is kind of holding out, hoping that they'll do it, because like he said, it is possible. They've done that before. Look what they did with Dexter, like 10 years out.
Well, so, yeah, that, and they also did it with Breaking Bad with El Camino.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to wrap everything up.
To wrap everything up with that Jesse.
Well,
they're doing the same thing with The Walking Dead.
A lot of people were pissed off that Jesse got left, basically in their clutches. Or whatever.
Yeah, he just made that quick getaway real fast.
Yeah.
But he did say that the main guy who got shot, he does live through his wounds, and season 5 was basically about going through and finding out who did it, who shot him. Which I still didn't like it, because I hate when they do that. They give like, oh, what's going on, and then they cancel.
Did they know that it was going to get canceled? Because sometimes that happens because they didn't know it was going to get canceled.
They said it got canceled after a couple weeks after the 4th season ended.
Yeah, so they didn't know.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
And then I watched a movie called, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen, it's called Monsters. They found like life in space, and they were bringing it.
Oh yeah, I've
like,
seen it. It's made to be like a documentary.
Yeah, no, this one is it's like this one isn't made to be a documentary, but they're talking about like making it. It's basically the ship blows up over South America and the creatures come alive. They look like squids on top of
legs. Yeah, it's supposed to be like a documentary. Well, okay, yeah, it's
a mockumentary.
No, well, it's not really a documentary.
It's about.
They don't know that they're being filmed, obviously, so it would be a movie.
Like a found footage or something.
No, not a found footage. It is a movie, I guess. I was thinking that it was a documentary, but it's about
just
them.
a movie about them trying to get out of the.
But they're trying to get out of the zone, yeah.
Oh yeah, I never. What's this on?
It was on Hulu.
Yeah.
Oh, never.
It's a good movie, honestly. I would check it out. Yeah.
And then since I finished The Glade, I checked out today. I decided to check out a couple different shows. I checked out a couple episodes of Reservation Dogs, which is about these kids that live on a reservation. They're Indians. They're Native Americans.
I know what you're talking about.
And
I've seen previews for it. That's on Hulu, isn't it?
Yeah. I watched 2. It's on from FX, but I watched 2 episodes. Was like, I don't find this funny, so I'm not going to watch it. So I decided not to watch that, and then I looked at another show called What We Do in the Dark. Or What We Do in the
Shadows. Yeah.
I watched 2 episodes of that, and I didn't get.
I haven't watched the show yet, but I saw the movie.
The movie's amazing.
The movie is amazing.
The movie's amazing.
I didn't see the movie.
The show is a lot like the movie.
But I haven't watched the show yet.
I watched a couple of the episodes, and I got a chuckle out of it, but I wasn't like really into them.
Oh, the movie's fucking hilarious.
The movie's fucking hilarious.
I've heard that the movie's funny.
It is. It's fucking hilarious.
Then
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Then I watched this show called Outsiders, and I think I'm gonna stick with that one.
Outsider. Is it the one about the cops and detective and trying to no?
These guys live on a mountain, and they're called the Pharaoh Clan.
Oh,
and they kind of and it's weird because they live on top of this mountain, and they like.
Isn't this like a documentary series or something?
No, this is a show.
A reality show.
The guy who played I think Otis on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But they live in this society on top of this hill that's all family, and
that came out years ago, right after Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, but because that's when that guy was big or something. I forget what his name is. But
I can't remember his name either.
They're real Viking. They have like a lot. I've seen the Viking stuff, and I'm thinking that they're doing their own little Viking society type thing, and I kind of like it, so I think I'm just going to stick to that and watch it. But it's pretty good. Outsiders, it's pretty good. I like the guy who played Otis or whatever.
He was also the main bad guy in The Walking Dead. What season was that? He played, was it Alpha or Omega or whatever? But you didn't know it was him because he always wore the zombie skin on his face.
Oh yeah. I liked him in Sons of Anarchy, and then
I stopped watching.
He's also.
I did too. I'm like 2 seasons behind or something.
I don't know. I'm like way behind. Way behind.
I watched like season 1 and 2, and then seen episodes here and there, but of The Walking Dead. But I liked him in Sons of Anarchy when I watched it, and
Yeah,
he's
Otis was
also-
awesome, dude.
He's also a friend of Ryan Clark.
Or
I think.
Opie. His name was Opie.
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 Opie, not Otis.
That's why you guys kept saying that. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But
I knew
can't
it was
think
something
of...
that started with an O, and his wife got killed.
Yeah.
But and then he's also friends with Ryan Clark, who was lead singer of Demon Hunter.
Oh,
I
really?
heard he's friends with Ryan
That's cool.
Clark. And so I started watching that, and I think that's good. I like that. So I think that's the new show I'm gonna stick to.
All right. So is that all you've been watching, Matt?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've been watching. Like I've watched some just videos of I watched Mike Cooper stuff on Mondays, and then other than that, not unless I see something that looks interesting. I watched a video about Indian weaponry. That was pretty cool. Like what they used, stuff. That was pretty sweet.
That's cool. Karen, what you been watching?
Only Murders in the Building. I'm still not done with that. I just kind of watch it from time to time, like when I have a half an hour to spare. And then I watched Storm of the Century. I hadn't never seen it, and I kept hearing how great it was.
You've never seen Storm of the Century?
I've never seen Storm of the Century.
Oh my God, dude. It's so
I
good.
haven't
It
either.
is really good. It is
I
really
love
good.
it. You've never seen Storm of the
I haven't
Century?
either.
It's like a 4-hour. It's a mini series. That was on
It was a
Sci-Fi
mini
years
series
ago.
from 1999.
Oh, see, I didn't know it was that long.
There's three
It was like
three
a 4 hours.
episodes,
So 4 hours.
episodes, and they're each an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So it's each like a movie.
It's really long. It's
I'm
like
not
4
real
or 5
big
hours
on
long.
miniseries. Is
I watched it all in one day.
I didn't like.
I did like it.
It's really good.
I was really weird out because I didn't like The Stand from Stephen King.
I loved The Stand.
Really?
I
didn't
loved
like
it. But I love the movie. Or the book. I mean, I love the books. The book is one of my favorite.
I didn't like. I
books.
didn't care for the show. I just thought it was slow going, and I didn't really care for it.
If you read the book, it's a little different, I guess.
That's from what I've heard about Stephen King. Is his books and his movies. I've heard his books.
Well, I think it's just a little different because you know the characters already from the book.
Yeah.
So when you meet them on screen, it's a little different. I don't know. But anyway.
Well, it's like that with a lot of shows. A lot of books are better than the show.
I mean, a little bit, yeah. It's just different, I guess. And then I watched Halloween Ends, and overall, I wasn't thrilled with it. I mean, I kind of agreed with Joseph's assessment. 2/3 of the movie was not a Halloween movie, and I absolutely hated that. I thought it was stupid, to be honest. I thought it was absolutely useless, and I didn't understand why it was there, why it was a plot, why it was in there. And the end I loved, but the end was only for about 5-10 minutes, and that's it. So overall, I guess I didn't care for it. And then we watched a movie called Applesauce. So we found it in the horror comedy section of I think it was HBO Max or something. And that's what we were looking for specifically, was a horror comedy to watch. And so that's what we picked because it was the description was like this guy, after making a confession on a radio show, starts receiving body parts in the mail. And so we were like, that's intriguing. Let's watch it, right?
Yeah.
So we watch it, and really the only thing that made it like a horror comedy was the body parts. Like the rest of the movie had nothing like horror related. I mean, it was Applesauce.
The fuck?
It's another one of those movies that are apparently starting to be popular, where it has the name of nothing that it has to do with that movie.
There are some genuinely funny parts. We overall enjoyed the movie. I'd recommend it for anyone to watch. But it was kind of like one of those movies that you're literally watching a bunch of characters and their lives explode. And that's, I mean, you're just watching conversations and situations happen. And I liked it. It was good. And then we finished Bite Size Halloween, and we watched A Quiet Place 2. Finally got around to that one.
Oh, you haven't seen
I haven't seen it yet.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
Wasn't as good.
I
as
haven't
first.
saw.
No, of course it's not. They never are.
I haven't
Almost
seen
never.
it or the first one, but I keep hearing that they're good movies.
They are good.
And I keep seeing things for the second one, but I'm like, I would like to see the first one first.
I have both of them.
Okay.
They're very good.
They're good movies.
Yeah, they're very
I
good.
think they're doing a third one.
Yeah, but I don't think it involves the same creative minds, if I remember correctly. I'd have to look at that again.
I don't
but-
see John Krasinski letting that one go because he's the main writer.
Right, but I don't think it's supposed to be like, I don't remember. I remember reading something about it, and I don't think he had anything to do with it. But don't quote me on that. I don't think, from what I remember or gathered, I don't think he had anything to do with it. But I could be wrong. That's it. That's all I got for the week.
Oh, I watched that new show, that new miniseries from Ryan Murphy, that The Watcher.
Oh, that came out?
Yeah,
I
it's-
tried an episode of it. I wasn't getting into it. So I just decided to leave it alone for a little bit, and I'll go back to it and see if I like it.
It was good. It's Ryan Murphy, so
Yeah,
I didn't know it
you
was
kind of know
directed.
what you're getting into.
he obviously took a lot of liberties with the actual story.
Yeah, I
so.
bet he did.
He throws in, like, there's a story about a man who essentially lost his job and came home and murdered his whole family and then got away with it and was never caught. I think he was caught, but he was caught some years later.
Yeah,
And he integrates that into the show too.
but that didn't happen in the house. It happened, I think it happened in the neighborhood, but it didn't happen in the house, right?
No, I don't think it happened there at all.
The only thing
Oh.
about the house that I remember, because I've seen things on the house where it's just these people moved into this house and they're getting notes.
Well, yeah, but there
And
was
then-
there
but-
was things that happened in the neighborhood. I watched a.
Was there?
I'm pretty sure there was. I watched a
Maybe,
true
I don't
crime
know. There's a lot
episode.
of fucking weird shit going on around that whole house. And
Yeah.
The only
And-
thing that I've ever
Again,
seen,
don't quote me on that. I just
Yeah.
remember.
I'm not really sure. I'm not too familiar with
the
with
only
that.
thing I've seen stuff about it is I've seen like what like, you know, sometimes you'll see those videos like top scary like houses or something like that, and it's been on like videos like that, like this little story happened here. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it was stuff like that, but they never.
I don't
got, like,
think
how
that
neighborhood or
the
anything
movie or the show was bad. I don't think it was bad. I think that it's what you get from Ryan Murphy, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's all
So,
you gotta
I
say.
mean,
I get it.
it's not bad. But it's not great. I know it started out. It came running out of the gate pretty strong
Yeah, I've heard
with like the
I've heard a
first
lot of
because
people
there's 7 episodes, and the first like 5 were really good. But then like by the 5th one or the 6th one, you're like, okay, this is kind of lame now. So and then by the 7th episode, you're just kind of like,
Also,
eh.
You just
Yeah.
gotta round it out and be done
Yeah.
with it.
I didn't really get into it because, like, for some reason, the guy who played the dad was just a prick.
No, I thought he was great. He was the best part of the whole show.
Well, no, I didn't think he was a bad actor or not. I got tired of his attitude. Like, for some odd reason, I don't usually care, but like,
No,
like
I
his
loved him. I
attitude-
thought he was the best part of the whole show.
as the dad, I was just like, screw that guy.
No, he was all right. Like he was like just trying to do his best as a dad, and he like worked a lot and things like that. But I thought he was great. I thought he did a great job.
You know, like I said, I only got 1 or 2 episodes in. I think it also might have been, it was like Monday or Tuesday, and it was just one of those days where I was also kind of like, you know, when you wake up and you're like, I really want to do something, but not really want to do something.
I feel that way
You
every
just
morning.
kinda
when
don't
I
know
wake up
what-
for work.
You just
I know
kinda-
I need to, but I don't want to.
I wake up every morning going, I'm not fucking going in as I'm putting on my jeans.
Yeah, I'm not going in. I'm
not fucking
gonna
doing
tell
it.
them what I think of them.
Yeah, I'm not,
I
I'm not
remember
gonna
when I
fucking do it.
I remember when I worked with you, Joseph, and then we were doing that 3 weeks for straight when I first started. I remember doing I don't really want to go in today.
Yeah, like as you're getting ready.
As you're getting ready, you're like, I
Yep.
really just don't want to. Yeah.
No, it's more like I'm not going to as you're getting
As
ready.
You're getting ready. I'm not fucking doing this. So House of the Dragon finished up their first season, so I managed to finish that out. See, House of the Dragon is one of them things where I'm like, we've already got a Game of Thrones.
That's why I didn't watch it.
And
yeah, I kind of feel like they're just dragging
so
it out now. Like
this is
come
where I'm
on.
like, it was good and it was cool and it was very grounded, whereas like Game of Thrones became this big thing. Whereas House of the Dragon is confined to like these 10 characters and it's just about like the throne. It's not a bunch of shit going on over here and a bunch of shit going on over here.
Well, see, I see
And-
the thing where I got to like season 5 or something on Game of Thrones, and I was like, I'm not really interested anymore.
Oh, I was, dude. I was
Like, I
I was
got to,
fully
like,
infatuated
Don't
with
you
that show.
like if you get too many characters though? Don't it get confusing?
That's the great thing about Game of Thrones is you never know when one's gonna die. It can be like
gets to a point like, okay, we've got way too many people
Yeah.
around here. We gotta thin the herd.
That's like one of the reasons I was when I first started watching a Game of Thrones, like I made it to season 3, just like I don't like anybody. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to say I like that person,
and then they're gonna die.
and then they're going to die.
See, my character was Jon Snow from season 1. Jon Snow was my favorite character. He was the most level-headed. He was the most kind-hearted, and God damn it, I was one good-looking son of a bitch.
You know who I got?
So I was like, I'm on Jon Snow's side. So whenever he became like, I was like, I'm waiting for him to die. But then he became like a main player. You're like, I don't think he's gonna die, and then he died. And then you're like, I don't think he's really dead.
Hold out hope.
And then he really wasn't dead. He came back. You're like, what the fuck? That's amazing. My wishes came true.
But you know, the funny thing about that show is like, I didn't have an opinion about Bran, and I didn't really like. I was like, Hodor's cool,
Yeah.
but I was so sad when Hodor died.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then from that point on, I was just like, screw Bran.
Yeah, Bran's a fucker. Bran's a fucker, man.
Because
Little
he's the reason
motherfucker.
Hodor was what he was. Because you didn't listen.
I didn't like Bran anyway.
I don't like his name. I've never watched the show. I didn't Bran.
Raisin Bran? What?
That's not a name.
Yeah. So it was good. I would recommend checking it out if you haven't seen.
Well, he ends up getting thrown out of the tower, too.
Yeah, that's in the first episode of the
that's a
first
good-
season.
Was it the first episode?
Yeah.
I thought it was the second episode.
Sounds like a good ending for a person named Bran.
He was a child, but okay.
Oh, whatever.
He
Bran.
he can't walk after that.
Bye, Bran.
You know what's funny?
Bye, Bran. He becomes king in the end.
You
I don't give a fuck, Bran.
That's a horrible,
I know.
horrible idea for him to be king. And also, the thing that I never understood about that is the
Spoiler
person.
alert. Just saying.
The person. Okay, so he
Very
The
delayed.
people who want to see it
Yeah,
have
very
seen
delayed.
he gets thrown out a window because he catches the brother and the sister having sex.
Yeah.
He doesn't die, and still doesn't tell anybody.
That's because he forgot what he had seen.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
All right, so I checked that out. I suggest checking it out. It's a pretty good series. 10 episodes. A lot of fucking incest. If you're into that stuff, I know some people are.
Like that's a normal.
I mean,
thing
what
to
do you
be
say? I
into.
mean, like it does have a lot of incest. I mean, this lady, she literally marries a cousin, then they like fake his death,
If that's your king.
and then she marries her
Watch
uncle.
the show.
Yeah, and then she marries her uncle. So just saying, they're
So
trying to marry
She definitely has a king.
cousins off to cousins.
Well,
and,
also,
But back then, that was a thing, right? That was like
yeah,
pure blood,
to keep
right?
the bloodline pure.
Daenerys
Yeah.
also lets you know that her family's really into incest at the end, anyways, because she tries to marry.
I mean, Jon Snow was
Because
technically
Jon
her
Snow
nephew.
was like, "Wait a minute, no, I'm your nephew. We can't love each other." And then she's like, "You sure?" Like,
We've already done the deed, so it's too late for that.
Yeah, she's really like, "You're my nephew." Oh, that's okay.
That's okay. I love you though.
Wow.
And then me and Crystal went and watched Black Adam opening night. So with The Rock and all that superhero movie. And she didn't like it that much, but I thought that movie was fucking awesome. Because it was just action from beginning to end.
I heard it was all action packed, but
It was action nonstop.
I'm
dude.
not really in the mood to see it because I've gotten so tired of superhero films.
I don't
Agreed.
blame you.
I'm burnt out on it.
Yeah, it's getting pretty old.
Yeah, I'm out.
They're dominating movie theaters.
That's what I'm saying.
now.
Is like I'm getting so
Because
tired
it's
of
the
movies.
it's the sure thing. They always know they can make money on
Yep.
it.
And at this point, there's nothing they can do that's going to be original. So.
And then they got these people who will sit there and they'll go, oh, that movie sucked. That movie was horrible. It doesn't matter. They got your money.
Yeah. You're still paying to go.
Yet you still show up.
You still show up. And I'll tell you right now, as long as Marvel keeps making movies, I'm going to keep watching them because I'm a fucking sucker like that. You know what I mean? So, but
I don't even remember the last one I watched. I just, at some point, I was just
Thor:
like,
Love
I'm
and Thunder.
over. I'm over
I
it.
watched Thor: Love and Thunder.
I heard
didn't
that
want-
movie was bad.
It wasn't bad.
I think the last one I watched maybe might have been Thor. The first one.
Ew.
Yeah.
The last one I watched was Age of Ultron.
Ew. Now I know why you two don't watch anymore. Because those weren't good. Like, they were okay. They weren't great or anything.
It wasn't because
Thor
of that.
Ragnarok was 10 times. That's one of my favorites.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that.
Because the reason
I'm just over it.
The reason I stopped watching was because I watched Age of Ultron and I was like, I think I'm just done with the superhero movies.
Yeah, like I'm just over it.
I don't blame you guys.
Uh,
I don't blame you at all.
well, wait, no. Did the second Guardians of the Galaxy come out after Age of Ultron?
yeah.
Then I watched that. That was the last one I watched.
Yep. That's
And
what
the
I've been
only
watching. But I did get back into my Dresden Files audiobooks. So, because I listened to the first one, and I really liked it. So I started the second one, and I got like halfway through it, and then I had to reset my phone, so I lost all of my audiobooks.
Oh, that sucks.
So I couldn't remember where I was in the book. So I had to I just started it from like the third or fourth chapter. Come to find out, I was already like halfway through this book. So I was like actually like 14 or 15 chapters deep. Because I'm like listening to it, I was like, I've already heard all this. And I'm like, so finally it gets to a part I hadn't heard, and then it was the end of the day, and I had to stop it. So
Yeah, I
like,
got
fuck, now I'm back to where I was. So
I got a book. Is it Under the Dome? That Stephen King book.
Oh, I watched that show and I was like,
I haven't watched the show, but I have the book and I've started reading it, and I'm about like this far in, and then I stopped reading because got busy, and I'd go to bed and I'd just go right to sleep or whatever. And now I'm scared I'll get back into it and I'll be like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know where I'm at.
I've got another audiobook right now that I want to listen to. It's actually it'd be a biography, I get. No, it's about a serial killer. But it's I can't remember his name, but it's called American something. I can't remember. But it's actually a more recent serial killer, more modern time serial killer, not one back in the 80s or 70s or whatever. But apparently he had stashed kill kits across the country.
Oh, I
And
know
then
what
he
you're talking about.
Went there and he
sounds
was
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kill kit thing sounds familiar.
Yeah, fuck.
I don't know how recent he is. I just know that it sounded cool, so I was like, I'm gonna check this one out. I haven't listened to it yet.
I want to say 90s.
90s.
I want to say 90s, but
See,
don't
that would be
quote me.
probably one of the most recent serial killers you could even really.
No, because you had the fucking one dude, some kind of shit. Riverside? No.
Talk about the Green River Strangler.
Yeah, that guy. Green River.
Green River
Green River.
Strangler.
Yeah, he was pretty recent.
Was he?
Yeah, I think that guy was in
See,
the
that's what I'm
90s.
interested in is like more recent serial killers, because if you think about it, those would be the ones that would have to be smarter than the.
Yeah, because you got to think the Green River Killer. They didn't catch him until they got DNA.
Right,
they
exactly.
had DNA.
Yeah, because
for
I was
him.
gonna say the Green River Killer I think was around for a long time, but
Yeah.
he was recently found.
Yeah, they recently caught him because of DNA.
Okay.
So yeah.
He was real old too when they found him.
I know he's more like 50s. I want to say in his 50s.
I'd say he
Okay,
lived
well,
a pretty
I
good
thought they
life.
just found an old serial killer who was in his 80s or something.
Yeah, that was the guy that he killed a couple of teenagers in the 40s.
Did they deserve it?
No.
Oh,
No.
I'm saying if they deserved it, then.
No,
don't
they
think
did
anybody
not.
really
and
were-
then he
well-
killed a few. There
Come
was
on, let's
there
get
was no
real
rhyme
now.
or reason to his killings, but the most famous case was the teenagers, because they never really had any good leads. They had DNA and stuff, but of course DNA wasn't a thing. Blah blah blah. And then there was all these other cases that were just completely disconnected, no real MO. Blah blah blah. But the cool thing, well, I guess you could call it cool, but he was on a show, like the shows where they get
Are you talking about one of the dating shows?
No, that's the other guy.
Oh, the dating game.
No, it wasn't the dating game guy.
We're
It was
thinking of a different guy.
Yeah, no. This was a game show, but it was like, can you guess who or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was 3 guys, all of them had the same name, and then it was like they described like their life or like who they were or whatever, and then like people had to guess who it was, and the guy that it was the guy, and he wrote a book about like him being a bad person, like he went to prison, he was a bad guy, he's reformed, how do you be a better person, blah blah blah. But he wasn't reformed, he was killing all these people this whole time. And his daughter was actually the one, I think, that ratted him out because he creeped her out her whole life. And she's like, hey, I think there's something wrong with my dad. And then like they go to Florida and they, DNA test him and they connect him to all these cases. I don't remember what his name was. It was something stupid. Like I think he had his first name and his last name were the same. Oh, 73. He's 73 now.
Yeah.
The Green River Killer.
Yeah,
Gary
that's what I was-
Ridgway. But they caught him.
Shows a picture of him?
Yeah.
Can I see it? Okay, well, that was not the guy I was thinking
Yeah,
of.
that one, I'm pretty sure. When did they catch him? Yeah, it was DNA that caught him. But I don't remember when. I'd have to guess. Like it started in the 80s.
He kind of looks like the BTK killer.
Yeah.
He has that kind of look.
Well, anyway, I just want to, but I'm going to keep listening to Dresden Files. I love the Dresden Files. If you're into wizardry and private eye stuff, like detective work.
That does not seem like those two should be connected.
They are,
at
though.
all.
They're pretty awesome. I got to say. They're pretty awesome. It's like, but it's funny because I remember whenever we used to hang out with Cy used to love the Dresden File books. So whenever I am picking,
sounds like a Cy thing.
it is totally a Cy thing. Like listening to the books, you're like, Cy just was envisioning himself as this person because I could totally see Cy being like, you know what I mean? Like, no, wizardry, I'm a detective. And
I seen Cy at Walmart a couple days ago, and he goes, Matt! And that's how I looked up, and I seen him walking with his kids, and he went into the bathroom, and I saw his son. His son is a spitting image.
Yeah, I know. Yup. Anyway, so that's what I've been watching, and I guess listening to. Let's move on into our movie. This week we are talking about Barbarian, and Matt was disappointed.
Hot off the press.
Matt was disappointed there was not an actual barbarian in the movie.
Nothing to do with barbarians.
I can explain it.
Yeah.
It's like, really, so what are they going to do next? They're going to make a serial killer movie and call it Paper Clips and Cotton Balls?
Okay. I'm just gonna do it.
Hold on. Let me get. No, hold on. Okay, so Barbarian, brand new movie just came out on HBO Max yesterday, actually, on the 25th. It's rated R, comes in an hour 42 minutes, written and directed by Zach Krager. Krager. Stars Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, Justin Long, and the man himself, Richard Brake.
You didn't even realize it had Richard Blake until...
Yeah, I did. I knew he was in it.
That fucked me up when I seen him in the cast because I was writing my shit down. I'm like, fuck, I'm not looking at the cast anymore because I seen him in it. I didn't know he was in it.
I was disappointed with his role, so...
Okay.
Why? Because it was very little?
Yeah. Richard Brake is a fantastic actor and a fantastic psychopath.
Yeah, he didn't really get much of a play.
Like he had like 2 lines in the movie, and then his whole character dynamic just
yeah, they could have fleshed it out a little bit more.
For sure, yeah.
Oh yeah, they could have
easily turned this into, instead of an hour 42 movie, it could have been a 2-hour movie. You know what I mean? Add a little bit more. Give me a director's cut.
I kind of like I've said before, I kind of like the mystery. Don't tell me everything.
See, I'm different. I
don't know. But in this case,
I like to wrap it all up in a little bow.
They told us enough.
No, they didn't. Because what? Okay, so the Richard Brake. Whenever they bring in Richard Brake, it cuts back to the 80s, right? Back to the 80s. It shows him walking into a store, buying diapers, blah blah blah. Then he walks out and he's like staring at this woman. Follows this woman home. goes into her house,
Unlocks a window.
unlocks a window, leaves, which tells you what?
He's gonna come
gonna-
back.
He's going to come back. He's going to come back. So he goes home after doing this, just walks out of this lady's house, goes home, and you find out that it's the house where the movie takes place in, which...
The doy.
Yeah, duh. Yeah. So then he walks down to the basement. That's it.
Yeah, but you heard
Then
a woman screaming.
Yes.
So you knew that he already had somebody.
Yeah, I understand that.
It wasn't his first rodeo.
But then after that, the next time you see him, he's a feeble old man pissing and shitting himself practically.
I was like blown. I couldn't believe that he blew his own head off. Like I was.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I don't understand. Why would he fucking kill himself?
Well, because he couldn't fight anymore. Was it? What the fuck was he gonna do?
I don't know. Like, he didn't come off as the type of man that would just blow his own brains out.
At that point in time, what the fuck was he
I
gonna
don't
do?
know, man. I didn't like it. They
He
didn't.
knew that.
They gave him hardly any dialogue. And why the fuck did his apparently that's his daughter.
Yeah,
Why did she back off whenever he approached the door?
because she was scared shitless of him. He was a monster her whole life.
I have some other questions about it too, and my whole question is okay, yeah, because I was like, how are these tunnels built? And then I found out, okay, he built them, but that is an extreme, like tunneling system under his house. People would have noticed, because look at the wood he would have been bringing in.
See, the thing is with that. Okay, so the thing is with that, people wouldn't have noticed because I think that they showed that scene with him where the guy was talking about he sold his house, they were moving out. I think that was the beginning of the end of that neighborhood. Is what they were trying to get at.
Yeah, so like he pretty much had that neighborhood to himself pretty quickly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well,
So-
I didn't think about that. I figured maybe he was just like the first one. He's like, I'm done. But I didn't think that the whole rest of it, because the neighborhood looked pretty alive, actually.
It
Well,
did,
yeah, in the 80s, that what they were talking about, like Detroit, in the 80s was very alive. It was,
Yeah.
it was part of the, the car boom. Everybody was, everybody had
That's why
great
they call it
jobs.
Motor City.
Yeah, but in the 80s was when it started to decline. So like, that's when it started. That's when people started to leave Detroit.
Yeah, but I think my big thing is because even somebody would have noticed. I mean, with all the
Not
dirt,
if he
all
not
the
if
wood.
he not if he started to have that place to himself. And that was the whole plot point, was that guy saying that we're going to sell our house, and it showed that the neighbors were starting to leave. So that was basically giving you the know that soon he was going to be on his own on that block, and he could pretty much do whatever he wanted.
I just think that there were a lot of holes in this movie.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of holes, and like when the girl found the room. Why didn't she call the cops? That's something you call the cops about.
No, here's where I got a little fucked up. When she walked out in the morning and saw what that place really looked like at night, it looked like everybody was asleep, right? Yeah, it looked shitty.
Yeah.
It looked shitty, but it looked like everybody was asleep.
It was pitch dark, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but you walk out in the morning and you see, no, that's not sleeping homes. Those are
Burnt down and
abandoned,
abandoned
burned,
homes, yeah.
Yeah,
boarded up.
Your house is literally the
I'm
only
not
house.
coming back here.
No.
I'm getting in my car and fucking I'm the fucking out of here.
yeah, because I understand
You'd be better off camping in the woods
when
somewhere.
the guy.
Yeah, I mean, like,
When
fuck
the gu-
that.
Yeah.
When the guy says it's a bad neighborhood, that threw me. I was like, it's a B&B in a bad neighborhood? Why?
Yeah.
And then, because when I saw when they did the thing, I was like, okay, that house is boarded up.
Yeah, I didn't.
But
That was kind of
when
weird.
they come out, it's like, okay, wait, no, okay, it was dark, but you would have still seen a lot of that stuff.
It was kind of weird to me that, that premise didn't make much sense to me, that some movie star would own a home in the middle of this neighborhood that.
Right.
I
I didn't
yeah,
fully
it-
understand
But the
that
only thing,
either.
the only thing I can say about that is that movie stars usually don't know what they own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
So-
was just throwing investment money at
right.
shit,
He's just trying to like make money, and
in
investment prosper.
property and
So
stuff
like
like that.
I
I
kind
don't
of understand that.
why he was investing in property in Michigan.
Right. Like
Like
that.
I didn't understand that.
Yeah,
part of
I
it.
didn't quite get that either.
My whole
But
thing-
where was Keith's car? I didn't.
Yeah, Keith
I think-
never had a car.
I think that he was taking an Uber or something. I don't think that he ever mentioned that he even had a car.
You think people in Detroit Uber? You
Yeah,
think they have
for sure.
Uber in Detroit?
Yes. Why
Nobody
wouldn't they-
lives there.
in Detroit.
If you can't even get the cops to show up, how are
Okay.
you going to get an Uber?
And not all of Detroit is dead. I mean, like,
Okay, but I'll say it again. You can't get the cops to show up. How are you going to get an Uber?
but the cops did show up. the Uber came there. I mean, I don't fucking know, man. That's the least
No,
of my
because when
concerns.
she
Like,
first called the cops were like, "Oh, we don't have somebody in that neighborhood."
no, they said they don't
What
have
I'm
any
saying
available
is there's
units.
not enough people in Detroit,
Yeah.
and the ones that are there are crackheads.
Oh my god, you have a very strong.
That's what the
depiction.
cops said.
No, Detroit is very bad right now.
Okay.
Dude. It's like I've seen
Now
so
in
many
the
things where it's
center
like,
of Detroit, in the city and stuff like
Yeah.
that, like in the very center where you have like life, yeah, sure, but like where they are,
yeah, the neighborhoods and stuff.
I'm
are
not. I'm just
dilapidated,
saying,
dude.
like you're not. I don't see how you're gonna get it. You know, like in Sydney, right? In Sydney, we barely have got DoorDash.
I don't have any problem with DoorDash.
No, not at all. But do we have taxis?
No.
You see what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna get an Uber there.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I'm not really concerned with
My
how
whole
Keith
thing
got from
is,
point
I
A
would've-
to point
I don't
B.
understand.
The
Like,
girl- I would've-
how does that make any sense?
I would have
know.
left after a guy chased me.
Uh,
Like
Yeah.
I like to think I'm a hard ass, but if a guy chases me, I'm out.
But like, what's up with that trope though? Like, you know, the person that's always trying to warn them, they're always creepy as fuck.
Yeah, he's always
like,
that, yeah.
hey, little girl. Hey, excuse me,
I
ma'am.
just wanted to warn you.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'd like to talk to you for a second. How about that approach?
Yeah. How about instead of chasing after her like a madman?
And
Yeah.
then beating on the door.
Like,
Get out of that house!
Yeah, get out of that house.
Like, why don't you give her? You know, it's dangerous in there. Don't just.
So I just want to. I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but Keith came off as
creepy.
very creepy.
At first, yes.
Bill
Well,
Skarsgård.
He can do creepy and sweet. Just
Well, what I'm,
as,
I know,
just
I know.
as well.
Like after
I mean,
they get to talking to each other and stuff, and you're like, okay, maybe he's not so bad.
Well, he was supposed to be.
Well, the thing is like if they were trying to go for that angle with him, I don't think that Bill Skarsgård would be the right choice.
Also,
Why?
Just because like if they weren't trying to make him seem creepy.
No, he was supposed to be creepy at first.
Okay.
He was supposed to give
did
you that vibe.
Also, I thought it was kind of funny that basically this girl's like, you know, kind of eerie of him, and then not wanting to drink wine that he shows her opening and stuff, and then he's like, oh well, I'm part of this group, and then she's like, hey.
Well, yeah,
I'm in love with you.
her panties got wet real quick, didn't they?
Oh yeah, she's sitting there enjoying that wine with him. You know what I mean? Like,
No, that he was supposed to be creepy at first. He was supposed to give you that vibe. But like, you know, I found this interesting. I don't know if you guys know who Zach Krager is. Do you guys know who you ever
no.
heard of him before? He was part of a comedy troupe called Whitest Kids You Know.
Oh, okay.
So I loved that show. I watched every single episode when it was on Netflix. Funny as fuck, dude. Like they were funny as fuck, okay? And I find it interesting that like, you know, so like Jordan Peele's coming out with great horror movies here lately, right? So like what's that connection
Danny
between
McBride.
Yeah, like what's that connection between having a great comedic mind and being able to put together good horror?
Yeah.
I think
You
because
know?
in their minds, I think a good comedic mind is good for horror for the fact that they have a mind, a creative and also a very kind of sadistic kind of mind. A lot of comedians can be quite sadistic.
That's
in
a
their
good
own
point.
minds.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that has a lot to do with it. Like creativity means a lot whenever it comes to that shit. So
Sure.
I think that if you can come up with a good joke, you can
I think
tell a good
it
story.
interests me from the perspective of psychology because that's what my degree's in. You know what I mean? So like, from that perspective, like I would love to poke at these people and learn, I guess, like what that connection is. And again, I'm not a creative mind, so I never even really thought of it that way. But yeah, you're probably right.
I think it's also funny that when Justin Long finds the tunnel system, he doesn't at all think that it's weird about how big
Oh
it
my
is.
god, Justin Long's character, my fucking
Dude, he
god.
was killing it, dude.
Yeah,
Well, nobody does a douchebag but like
know.
Justin
Yeah,
Long.
he did it
okay?
really
he's
well.
a good actor, but he, like, there was a lot of things where I was like, that's stupid.
It's funny because he had the most development in the movie.
Yeah.
Like his
No, he didn't.
Oh yeah, he did.
No, he didn't. At the end of the fucking movie, he pushes her off the fucking
That's
thing
what
to
I'm
save
saying.
his own
And
fucking skin.
I'm not saying that he had. I'm saying development. His character was fleshed out more than the other characters.
Well, yeah, you seen he had more screen time.
Exactly, and he was the most. I think he was the most. I think that he didn't develop as a character. No.
Yeah,
he was the most developed character.
Yeah, you saw him more. Yeah.
So I think that, and so him as a character, it's funny because you start out like sympathizing with him and like, oh man, that sucks that it happened to him, it's ruining his career.
Sure, but when they got to the bar and he was talking to his friend, that's where I was like, oh, you're
that's
an
where
asshole.
you're like, all right.
Oh yeah,
I didn't like her, but I had to talk her into it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Maybe it's just me, but I'm the kind of guy that if I'm trying to get in a girl's pants and she says no, okay.
All right. Easy enough for me. You know what I mean? Like,
but look, was that not a great mid-movie twist? Because of the marketing alone.
Yeah.
The marketing alone made you think this was just Airbnb, Bill,
Yeah.
and her, and that was it. Oh, excuse me.
And
that was it, you know?
It was another thing when it changed that thing, and
when Bill got his head smashed in, I was like, oh no.
He was a good guy.
Oh no. I love him.
The girl sees like the monster thing at that, and then ended.
That was creepy as fuck.
I
I seen them boobs, and I'm like, oh, what is that?
But
wrong turn came to mind.
Right.
Automatically.
I
wrong
seen
turn.
that part, and it ended for a minute because it went to black screen. I actually thought, is this over? Your movie has made me think.
But you come on, an hour and 43. Like, you're just gonna stare at a black screen for like another hour. But like, I knew they weren't gonna kill off Tess. For some reason, I just knew she wasn't dead.
No.
You know what I mean?
She was the most acidine fucking, like, she pissed me off so many times in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, for one, she opens that.
Smart?
No, she opens that fucking door in the basement and was like, "Nope." Exactly. Nope.
Yeah,
Walk
exactly.
your ass back
Why
up
did you
the
nope
fucking
and then
stairs.
go, oh, if I can have a light, then I can go in
Yeah,
there?
then
No, the answer is still no. The answer is still
Then you go
no.
in there and you see that room. I'd get the fuck out of there, dude.
Look, if I see a rope in the wall of a basement and it
opens a door.
I mean,
And
no.
then she takes it even further. She goes into there, or like, all right, you saw the room, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
But
you
then,
know
like,
that's bad juju.
Yeah.
Why keep going?
So
and why
he
the
goes,
fuck did Keith go down there, you stupid fuck?
Then Keith goes down there and finds that other door, and I'm like, why? No.
Well, why?
She's like, I hear him. I'm like, no, get the fuck out of there,
and
dude.
it's dark as shit. Why would you go down there without a flashlight or anything? I mean,
the only time I'd be okay is if I go down to a basement and find a string and pull on a string and another door opens up. The first thing I'm going to probably do is go, is this a prohibition heavy area? And how old is this house?
No.
Because that's my first thing. I'd have to be like in Chicago or something. But, you know, because I thought, well, okay, I can see where she thought. But then when she got there, because even, okay, yeah, some people, there'll be little hidden rooms in their basement. They're like, oh, hey, you know, I've seen things where people found hidden spots in their house.
this is the difference between a horror movie watcher and someone like yourself, because me and Joseph are going, nope, that's a kill room.
Yeah.
I'm not going in there.
But when she gets into that room and there is a bed and a camera and stuff, that's when I would go, oh, heck no. I'm calling the cops.
It's so funny whenever Justin Long goes down there and he finds it. He's like, what the fuck?
Square footage.
He's like, and then he's like, and then the first thing he says is, I even wrote this down. Where's that? Oh, can underground spaces be counted as square footage?
Yeah.
I'm like, that is fucking hilarious. This fucking guy.
He is such a douchebag.
He's such a dumbass. So, and another thing I want to call out on his behalf, because let's face it, he was the most fun part of this movie.
Yeah, he was. I think he did a good job.
Yeah, he had
He's douche, but dude, he was the funnest part of this whole fucking movie.
Well, this was the thing that I couldn't wrap my mind around either. So like he gets there and you know things haven't been cleaned up, right? So they explain that with the maid service thing.
I wanted to comment on that. I said sending in a maid service before someone rents is a stupid system, because like she says she says that she says we send in a maid service before the next renter comes. He said that is a dumb system. And I'm thinking, like, yeah, that is a really dumb system. Why wouldn't you send a maid service after they leave, after someone leaves?
Well, I can kind of see, like, I
think it's before
if
each person rents. So it's
that's what it
after
is.
another
Well,
person
but how long?
leaves.
But he said that it's been like a couple weeks since somebody had rented it.
And that
well,
also-
because
that place
you
is-
want them to have
that's-
clean sheets. You want like smell clean.
Okay,
you know
I
what
understand that, but why the fuck? What if somebody threw up all over the floors or something?
Yeah.
Or trashed the place?
Yeah, that's true.
My
You
whole
can have
thing-
rotting food in the house, or
That's true.
you don't know what they did.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you're just gonna leave that shit sit there until the next renter comes along? Like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
My whole thing too is like, nobody reported these people missing.
But that's what I'm getting at. Like, this doesn't... I mean, and it could be that this is the first time, but it doesn't seem like this is the first time, right?
Right.
So, if the maids come to clean up, right, that makes sense that the maids come to clean up. So, like, they never mention that, hey, there's luggage here again. This is, like, the 8th time.
Right.
Like, they never mention that. And then cars.
Yeah, why is
why
the
are
cars
there, yeah,
still
where
there?
are
People
the
would
cars?
leave their cars, right? And, like, that's not something that people just leave
There's
behind.
a lot of plot holes.
That's
in
that's
this.
like one of the reasons.
That's what I'm saying. If this is the first time,
like,
then that makes sense, right? But, like, I don't get this can't be the first time, right?
not as long as they've been living down there. There's no way. So,
Right.
also, because the one guy says she comes out every night.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that either. Like, hold on, she comes out.
I
of the
don't
house.
like that. And I don't like that
it's
at all.
not that.
Just-
I'm like, I don't want to see it or anything. It's just one of those things of like, you're telling me she leaves the house at night, like, for what reason and to what end? Why would she come out of the house?
Yeah, because
you're telling me she strolls up the stairs
Maybe
and
she
walks
comes
out
out
the
for
front
food.
door. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess probably.
You know what I mean?
I was
Like, you
thinking-
think she goes to the grocery store like she goes to the 24-hour convenience store down the road?
No, like
You know what I
rats
mean?
and shit or something. You
No,
know what I mean?
it's
Like,
crazy,
I don't know.
bitch.
I
She
was
ain't got no
thinking-
fucking clothes on.
because my thing was, I was thinking when he said she comes out, and my whole thing is like, wouldn't they have to come out at least a little bit to like get supplies?
You would
like
think,
how?
yeah.
Like I was wondering, so are they killing these people and eating them?
Well, if you think about it, though, the renters that come in, if they're killing these guys off, whatever food they would bring in, you know what I mean?
okay,
But then again, I can't see how that would be enough to sustain them.
yeah.
You know?
But yeah, so I was thinking, are they killing these people and eating them? Because that wouldn't be weird. It's a horror movie.
Right, yeah.
Anytime you see cannibalism in a horror movie, you're like, oh.
I was not surprised, though, that Richard Brake was the guy that started all this.
Yeah, right.
Not at all. Nope.
So, there's so many things about this fucking movie. So, the homeless guy...
Like, why does the girl have super strength? Why does the
I wrote
creature
that
have
down
super
too.
strength?
Like, I don't get it.
She was able
like,
to rip that dude's arm off. Like,
Yeah, after running through a concrete wall.
she did, dude. She straight came through that
She
wall.
I think I wrote that too, and I said, for an emaciated, unhealthy bitch, she's fucking strong.
Yeah.
Hit by a car, goes through a wall, tears a dude's arm off, goes off a building.
No,
Like,
beats
why
him with
won't
the
you
arm.
fucking die?
Yeah. I did, like, she came, but, like, it was so funny because as soon as he said, I've been here for 15 years and she ain't never bothered me once, I was like, she's
coming.
She's
She's
coming
coming.
through that wall. Mm-hmm. And as soon as
thought
she
a
said
door,
that,
not a wall.
I thought she would, like, just bust in out of nowhere and attack
I figured
him.
she was gonna like drop down from the ceiling or,
Or
something, like you know, like
or
through
pop
a
up
window
behind
or
him
something.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But no, she straight bust through the fucking wall. I'm like, holy shit! I was like, Kool-Aid Man. Like, oh yeah,
That's what I wrote. Somehow has super strength.
yeah.
Like,
Then she comes
how?
in and rips this dude's arm off after 15 years of being a homeless man there and beats him to death with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hold on. You never thought to do this before?
That's what I'm saying. Like, she's emaciated. Like you can tell she can't eat enough to like
Yeah.
be anywhere near healthy. Yet she has the strength to go through a wall,
Rip a dude's
beat a
arm
dude
off.
with his own arm,
Yeah.
drop off a building.
Yeah. No, dive
well,
off of a building.
no, I'll tell
or a
you-
water tower, I should say.
Well, I can tell you this: Crazy has strength,
Yeah.
so there's that. But holy shit, that's a lot.
Right.
I've been like bad to where I've had extra strength, but I don't think I could ever go through a concrete.
I'll be
wall.
honest with you. I think that one of the biggest disappointments about this movie is the crazy lady. She was just the most disappointing part because I was really hoping for something way cooler than some naked crazy bitch.
Also, my big thing is how in the heck? Because at the end of it, when he throws her off, he throws the girl off.
I don't even know
And
how
then
this happened.
Yeah, and then
I don't even because he like took her and like pushed her down and like she slid off.
Yeah, and,
I'm like, what the fuck was
not
that,
only
dude?
then
Like,
the woman jumps down after her and somehow
managed to get
she
under
landed
her.
on top of her.
Yeah, she straight superhero jumped that shit.
The only way I can figure that though, and this, if you think about it, does kind of make sense. When the mother jumps down after her, she does it in like a dive.
Yeah.
Where she's falling like
she's
this.
coming like this, towards
Yeah.
her. So like she could have grabbed her
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
twist, like.
But I don't think that. But
with
my
how
whole thing is
short
that
the
I just
fall
don't think
was.
that would have been a long enough fall.
Yeah, with how short the fall was.
I'm just saying it's possible.
I guess
Yes,
it's possible.
I understand it's possible.
I mean,
but my whole
let's
thing
face
is the
it, she
height, I
did
don't
run through a wall and
Yeah.
rip a dude's arm off and beat him to death
Also,
with it.
this
The fact
movie-
that she could fly wouldn't
And she's so
surprise
damn
me.
skinny. That dive would have happened quick.
Yeah, but you would think that them titties would have been like fucking airplane mode.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like
they,
flapping in the wind and shit.
Well,
they kind of were though.
Like if you
realize-
think about it, dude, like shit, them things could have spread out and she could have like glided to her safety.
another thing,
Just
They
I'm
weren't
saying,
quite that.
this movie also did a real good job of making comps and Dayton look.
No shit. Those cops were incompetent as fuck.
I said the same thing. I was like, "There's no fucking way," especially a black cop
them bad.
talking to a black woman saying, "No, that's not true. We're not checking this out."
I don't even
blah, blah,
care
blah."
about the race, dude. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way that you're gonna walk up to a cop looking like that and being able to enunciate your words and talk like a normal human being and
then
saying,
them go-
"I was kidnapped. I escaped.
It is their duty,
I need
and
help,"
they would help.
and they're gonna go, "Nah, you're a crackhead."
Yeah,
No.
that was
No.
a very unbelievable part
Also,
for me.
and then if I'm a cop and she takes me to this neighborhood where all these houses are, and she was like, "It happened in this house," and that house looks decent, I'm gonna go, "Okay, we need to check this house."
Yeah, why is
Because
this house
again, Why
nice?
is it the only house on this street?
Exactly. There was something suspicious about that.
Yeah,
And you know, like, this was just another moment for me when I was like, Justin Long, you fucking suck. He shot her, right? And I understand that it was an accident.
Yeah.
100%. I'm not blaming him for that. But he literally shot her, right? The mother is pinned against the thing with the car, right? You can
Oh,
see her
yeah,
in the
yeah.
background. They both see her, right? And the dude shot himself in front of Justin Long. So in Justin Long's mind, there's no more threat, right? There's no more threat in that house.
Yeah, that.
But he
kinda got
goes,
me though.
I'm not going back in there for those keys. You shot a bitch, and you won't go back in there for those keys when there's clearly no threat now?
well, he doesn't know that there's no threat, and they just were traumatized in that fucking cave system. Would you want to go back in?
I'd run in and get my keys.
I don't know, man. I think I'd.
They were
fucking-
right there on the table.
Yeah, they weren't in the tunnels.
Yeah, maybe.
She ran in and got the keys, and she'd
Did
already
her
been in
car-
there 3 or
did her
4
car
times.
stop working then, or
No, yeah, she hit the mother, and it smoke and
Oh, so it just died.
yeah,
out. Okay.
yeah. They couldn't use her car.
Also, the other thing I gotta say, the ending was boring as heck.
What do you mean?
What?
The ending of the movie was boring.
The credits?
Yes, those are the credits.
Yeah, I can see that.
No, how she just killed the thing, the
Oh.
creature, and
You wanted something more exciting
Yeah.
and more eventful, I guess, to
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Well, you kind of. This is how I kind of figure that, from my perspective. You kind of have. You don't have to, I guess, but you feel bad for her. I mean, her whole life, right? She's only known that,
Yeah.
and the mother thing or whatever. It's not because she actually feels motherly or anything. It's more
'cause
like just an
it's what she's
instinct
been
thing or
taught,
whatever,
yeah.
So like, I think it's more like the way she did it was to put her out of her misery and be done with this whole thing. It wasn't some heroic, it wasn't some over the top like, fuck you, bitch. It was just, okay, we're done here.
I think that
You're done, we're done,
I think
I'm
that
over
Georgina's character was like I think she had sympathy for her. She's
A certain amount of
And
sympathy,
I
maybe not a
understand
lot,
that,
but
they could have still done more with that.
I still think that her character should have been a side character. I think that the crazy naked lady should have been a side character. Maybe not even
maybe not make her the main villain.
Yeah,
you're saying?
exactly.
Yeah,
maybe
'cause I
not.
remember
Maybe
you
not
said,
even
like-
Richard Brake be the main villain, but
Because-
have a main villain, like a
Well,
better.
this is the part that I didn't get. Okay, so he said that he had been in that house all that time, raping and creating babies and raping the babies and creating babies and raping the babies.
Did he say that?
And then he said it for years that and the mother was the creation of all of that incest.
Yeah, dude.
That's
it
what
was
he
him
said.
Creating, because he had videos of the other girls being. It would be like this girl pregnant, this girl pregnant. So what he was doing was essentially having a baby, and
With
then
his own
raping the
babies.
baby.
Like, and creating
That's
incestual
why.
babies.
That's why the kid. That's why the woman looked so emaciated and stuff, because she was not just. Oh, that's how she looked. I mean,
well, that's where her super strength comes from.
Maybe,
no, but-
yeah.
Well, yeah,
but-
to a certain extent, but still to.
But my
crash to
point
a
is that
concrete wall.
where were the rest of them?
Yeah, there would have been. You think there would have been more?
Yeah, there would have been more. There would have been boys. Like he only had girls, or you know what I mean? Like I don't get there.
Unless he was one of those who he only killed the boys. And
yeah, maybe he did. I mean, he was a monster.
He was old because
quite clearly.
Joseph said something when we were watching at the end where I heard him say her kid and his kid. Like he thought there. Didn't you think there was going to be another killer? It was going to be like the. Basically, what I thought Joseph was saying is that he thought there was going to be another killer between the guy and the girl.
That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
I was hoping that there'd be another
like
something
like a
down
surprise,
a bigger, stronger,
there. Or maybe like
version.
I thought maybe the mother was still down there or something like that. Like the mother of that girl or whatever. And
yeah, see, that's what I'm getting at is that it couldn't be just her and him left. Out of all those years of
something,
if it was all those years, so it's what from the 80s until 2022. That's what 40,
something like that.
40 years. All of that raping and incest and all that, and you're telling me that there's only one left?
I think she's the original. I think she's the one from the 80s.
No, he said that was his daughter. That was over years of incest. That's why she was the way she was.
Oh. So she was a lot younger than
Yeah, that's what that homeless guy said. He said that she was the product of all that rape and incest, and that's why she was the way she was. And I mean, that's what didn't make sense to me is that you see all these tapes, like he said, you see all these tapes of these many women, and so at the very least there was at least the first generation of like 30 kids. So you got 30 kids, and then 30 kids of those, 30 kids of those. You know what I'm saying? Like, where are all these kids?
So that explains the barbarian aspect of it.
No. Well, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah. I got it. I got you.
I think that
that's one of the things that
I knew it was going to bother you.
To do with
I knew it was
barbarians.
going to bother you, so I found it. I found it.
The girl is even that does not even qualify as a barbarian.
I looked it up for you.
And I'm waiting to hear Karen think.
What? No. I looked up why it's called Barbarian.
And it's because at the beginning when I told her, and I'm pretty sure you heard me say, if there's not a barbarian, then
that's why I looked it up. That's why I looked it up.
So, the part where they're down in that little hole in the cage.
Yeah.
Justin Long and Georgina's character, the part where she sticks that bottle down, and like. Yeah. So like it's covered in like hair and
and you know where that milk came from?
Yeah, you're like
when the girl started sucking, I was like, oh, that's gonna suck because I've tasted breast milk before. And it's not necessarily good. I was dating a girl that she was on medication that made her lactate. We didn't realize that.
Oh.
Yeah. She didn't know. We didn't know that was.
Tell us more, Matt.
So I was having, and I started sucking on her tit and got breast milk.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And I realized it's sweet, but it's not like a good sweet. It's not. No, it. Yeah, because I know how breast milk tastes, and I've gotten a lot. I've said I know how breast milk tastes. There's a lot of people like how. Things happen, man.
Things happen.
It's not like I went, oh, breast milk, woo!
I know someone who did.
Oh, fuck.
Well, you can buy breast milk online and stuff.
Yeah.
From what I've read, I've never actually.
From what I've read, people.
Well, no, because I've read stuff about like weird. I've watched like My Strange Addiction and stuff. And also, they mention it and shoot them up. Remember?
There's people that's their kink too. Yeah. There's a kink for everything out there.
That is true. That is true.
But yeah, like that part, I literally was like sitting there like.
They don't even make the bottle or anything look
appealing
in any way.
Anyway,
that was my thing because it's like it's not only breast milk that
and it's filled to the brim. God,
that bottle has probably not been cleaned properly.
Yeah,
the nipple
there's no running water down there, so nothing's getting clean.
It's not clean.
You think she's going up to that like house and like doing her dishes at night?
I don't think she knows how to do dishes.
She doesn't have a bunch of hair in her legs and armpits, so she's got to be shaved, right?
Maybe that's probably incest.
That was actually a dude in a suit.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprising at all.
That was a dude.
Yeah, it was a dude. I didn't know that.
The height, kind of.
Yeah.
makes it. Makes you,
She got that from her dad.
Richard Brake is a tall dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Once I saw her height, I figured that's probably a dude in a suit.
Yeah, there's some continuity errors in the story for this movie for me that kind of bug me a little bit, but I don't know, man. Like, I think that instead of, I did enjoy the fact that they fleshed out like Justin Long's character a little more than Georgina's character, because I liked that they were showing this douchebag instead of this nice girl, because you pretty much knew from the beginning what kind of person she was going to be. She was ignoring some dude's call, which we're assuming is her ex. She meets a new guy, and she's like very, she's putting up that wall, but she's also very sympathetic. That's why she keeps running back into the cave and trying to help these guys and blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, I agree that part of the greatest thing about the movie is that it doesn't follow some of those tropes that you're expecting.
But that's just
to follow.
it, though, is they did follow tropes with her character.
Sure,
but instead of following her character, they chose to follow more of Justin Long's character.
But that's what I'm saying, is that it doesn't. The movie, the plot itself, doesn't follow the tropes that you're expecting it to follow.
They give you something a little
as
different.
soon as you expect that the movie is going to go this way, it goes the other way.
And that's one thing that I did enjoy that about the movie. It was like, okay, this is something different. Thank God, something.
I did.
Yeah, when we hit that mid movie, like, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
I did enjoy the fact that it had a good story, but like I said, there were a lot of things that it just kind of left me wondering. Well, this and this and this, and that. But I think it was a good story.
The biggest drawback for me is that I think the story was wonderful. Had it been able to been fleshed out more, it should have been a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you added 20 minutes to that movie.
Yeah, I think they rushed it a little bit.
Yeah, it just fleshed it out a little bit more, because everything
I would have liked to have
about
spent more time with Richard Brake's character in the past.
Yeah.
I think that would have been, like, give me another 20 minutes of that.
Like, show him building the tunnel.
Because they do that. What they do is they go from the part where Keith dies, and they cut straight to Richard Brake's character.
No, that went straight to Justin Long.
Oh, yeah, it did. But I think that what it should have done was go straight to Richard Brake's character.
Yeah.
And showed us a good 40 minutes of him, and then cut back to Justin Long's character. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I think the sequence should have went, to kind of develop that a little more.
I mean, maybe a little bit more, but I don't know if I want to know too much. Honestly.
I want to know more about Richard Brake's character, because you know that they're not going to flesh that character out anymore, because, well, obviously he took a bullet to himself.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't.
I mean, yeah, but also, I really do like that mystery that they leave in these kind of movies. Like, Hellraiser, I hated the fact that you showed me how they make a Cenobite. I don't want to know. I like,
you like a little mystery.
I don't want to know what made Michael Myers evil. Why he wanted to kill people. I don't want to know.
Is there a movie that lets you know that?
Yeah, fucking what's his face's remake, Rob Zombie. Yeah, he decided to give him a backstory.
Rob Zombie's.
I don't want to know. I mean, like, yeah, it's cool. I think they gave us. Could they have fleshed it out a little bit more? Sure, but I don't want too much more. Like, I want to know, like, what they showed us. I was fine with. You gave me just enough information.
Just enough. You just let her suckle on the teats.
Not that one.
Not that one.
No, I mean, like, I don't want to know a lot about Richard Brake's character.
I just want to say that whenever they kill Justin Long, they got a thing with his eyes.
Yeah.
He always Creep Show, doesn't he get?
No, not Jeepers Creepers.
Don't he get his eyes ripped out?
Yeah, he loses his eyes. Well, he loses a lot more than his eyes. But.
Yeah, but that's why they show that. Yeah, because I was thinking when I got home, I was like, wait a minute.
Because she didn't just, like, she put her fingers right into his eyeballs and then just ripped him in half. Or his head, anyway.
Yeah.
I was like, that takes some fucking strength right there in itself.
But you do bring up a good point, because they talk about, what is it, like, ancestral, like, ancestral tribes and stuff. They do have more strength than most
Right,
people.
yeah.
So that does
That's
kind
what.
of
That's where
explain
the.
that.
That's the term.
I mean, I don't think you have enough to go through a wall, but maybe I don't know.
That's where the term retard strength comes from.
I've never heard that.
They
term.
call
That's
it
a term?
retard strength. It's actually kind of sad. Yeah,
That is sad.
But
I
they,
hate that word.
but
But
it's
everybody
because-
said it in school. Come on.
Yeah,
I
it's-
did not.
It's because
You didn't make
You-
fun of
did-
your friends and be like, yeah, use that retard strength.
Did you ever hear me say that R word? Honestly.
I will say
I don't know.
I'm not. I don't
never paid
really
attention.
care too
promise.
much about language, but the R word is one thing. Is one word I don't like, and it's because I've been called a retard because of my brain damage. That's why I don't like. I don't like. the
I
word
don't.
retard.
I've never liked it. I think it's used as a slur, and I don't like it.
I think you guys are retarded.
I think you're a bastard.
You don't want to know what I think.
Oh damn.
Tell us how you feel, you fucking psycho.
But yeah, that does kind of make sense. If she was like 30 years of incest built up in one person, and
Right.
I guess
But
that makes sense.
I could understand where she, and I could see where she would be stronger because I thought about that too, but not strong enough to break through a concrete wall.
Yeah, dude, that part whenever she was trying to get Justin Long to suck on her nipple, I was like, ugh!
You didn't like that one? at
No,
all?
I didn't. I hated it. I was like,
Yeah, that
no.
was worse than the bottle. Can you imagine the smell? Just the smell alone. She probably smelled like ass and
yeah.
sweat and
Just disgusting. And then she wants you to put her nipple in her mouth, in your mouth. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm the whole time like, no, don't do it.
Like he had a choice.
Right, yeah. And he was trying so hard too. Man.
yeah.
Could you imagine having your whole body pressed up against her body? Just the smell.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd have
the
to stay
smell.
in the shower for a week.
Because look, I'm smell sensitive. Like if somebody's wearing perfume around me, like flowery perfume, I get a headache in like 2 seconds. Lysol, I get a headache in like 2 seconds. Like smell is like the first thing I notice about anybody. Smell.
And you know she stunk, man.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, so that's where my head went immediately. Was like, oh my god, she stinks. Like, oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you.
All right, so did everybody pretty much cover everything they want to talk about on this one?
One thing. Okay, so AJ had a cell phone down there that whole time. He was using it for light.
He dropped it at some point.
Yeah, he had.
But he was using it for light, so like I have to assume.
No. He had
No,
a
he had a
flashlight.
flashlight.
He had
He had a flashlight, but he was using it for
Oh yeah,
light
that's right. Yeah.
towards the end.
Oh,
So like, did he not have a signal? Is that the trope we're going with?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I know you're underground, but you're not that far underground.
Yeah, but even underground like that, I could see you not being able to have service.
I
Them
guess.
steps went down pretty far though.
I
You're not only
guess.
in the basement, and then you went
that
down.
It went down into like
Yeah, you're not gonna have service.
And that
down
looked
there.
like that wasn't like. It also didn't look like it was like in mud. It looked like it was pretty much in stone.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that does make sense to a certain point, but it was just kind of like when he pulled out his cell phone, I'm like, okay. Sure. I mean, it made sense. I wrote it down because I'm like, okay, well, if he doesn't have a signal, all right, cool. But
Yeah, because
it was just so strange because you see him pull out a cell phone and you're like, cool. Okay. I mean, throw it in my face while you're at
throw it
it.
in our face.
God.
What about you, Matt? You got any extra notes you want to toss out there? Or
I've told you my
do you wanna-
gripe.
Yeah. No barbarians.
I'm so sad about Bill, though. I love Bill Skarsgård. I love him so much.
I didn't know that his name had the little circle on top of it.
Yeah,
Like,
he's related to
Norwegian.
all of them. Yeah, he's related to all of them people. His dad,
Them
his
people?
dad hates him, or he hates his movies.
Norwegians.
Yeah, his dad's pretty famous. His dad's
His dad's an actor too.
yeah.
Oh,
His
really?
well, I think they all are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all.
His dad is the doctor or scientist or whatever from the Thor movies.
Yeah. His dad's pretty famous, and he does a lot of artsy films and shit like that.
But then he does Marvel movies. So
Yeah, and then he
suck
does.
a dick.
So like, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
Just because Bill
Wasn't-
likes to do good movies.
Wasn't Bill's like first thing? Wasn't he in like what was that?
Hemlock Grove.
Hemlock Grove.
Yeah.
I think that Bill is very much becoming a
horror
movie mainstay.
He does what he wants. That's what he said like a million times in interviews. Like when people ask him, like, how do you pick your movies? He's like, I pick what I want to do.
I think he did a really good Pennywise.
Oh yeah, he was great.
Did you ever see that interview he did where he's talking about the one scene where he's like, in that kid's face? Did you ever see that interview?
No.
It's funny as shit because he's talking about being in one of the kids' face. I don't remember which one. But he's like screaming in this kid's face, right? It's the scene where he's like in this kid's face and the kid is terrified, right? He's like terrified, and in Bill's head he's going, what am I doing? I'm scared of this shit. I'm terrifying this kid. And so that, as soon as they hit cut, he's like, are you okay? He's like, are you okay? And
so he likes to do horror movies, but he's a sweet guy.
Yeah, as soon as they said cut, he was like, are you okay? And the kid was like, I love what you're doing, baby, keep going. And he was like, oh. The kid walked away like everything was fine.
That's awesome, though.
Right? Because it was so funny because he's like screaming in this kid's face, and he's so scared for this kid. He's like, I'm terrifying this child.
And the fact that he thought the kid was actually scared just shows how good of an actor the kid was.
Right.
You're doing great, baby. Keep it going.
Right, exactly.
I like what you're doing. All right.
And the funny thing is, I felt bad when I watched that movie because of one part. And when he has the kid's arm, he's going...
That's funny as shit.
I saw that in theaters and I went,
I know.
And I was like, why am I laughing at that?
I saw like a GIF somebody sent me one time, and it was because they were trying to say hello or whatever, and it was Forrest Gump, right? The part where he's on the boat and he waves. And then you see he's waving at Pennywise. And Pennywise waves
yeah, I see that and I still laugh, and I'm kind of like, and I'm just like, oh, I'm such a bad person. Because I shouldn't find that funny.
It's funny though.
I don't know.
It's not real.
Yeah, but
you're allowed. You can have a warped sense of humor and still be a good person.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that you can.
These are your Christians, people.
No, it's
I have a warped sense. I'll be the first to admit it.
No, there's just it's just I'm not even thinking about the whole Christian part. It's just that it's like, sometimes you laugh at stuff and you're like, oh, why am I laughing at that? I shouldn't be laughing at that, because it's something that most people wouldn't laugh at.
Most people I know would, so I'm cool with it.
I laugh at everything that's disgusting and gory, and I don't care if kids die.
But no,
it's fucking funny, dude. I don't care.
I have never liked watching movies where kids die.
I don't care because I know it's not real.
Within context.
Yeah.
Like Tropic Thunder when that one kid bit it.
Yeah, that's fucking funny.
Well, there's like certain things like
don't get me wrong. No, I don't like scenes of like child death where it's a serious
That's
situation.
What I'm saying. Like
it's not really that funny. Then it's sad.
Yeah.
Because I watched Toxic Crusader, and the part where those bad people ran over the kids. I never watched Toxic Crusader again because I didn't think that was funny. And then there's a part in a movie called Hobo with a Shotgun.
Oh, I like that movie.
Where the guy gets on the bus and he barbecues all those kids with that flamethrower.
Yeah, but
I don't like that. So
that was supposed to be funny and campy, though.
Yeah, but see, there's I'm going to bring it to a part in the Bible. There's a part in the Bible where I don't know what it says exactly because I can't remember everything that it says, but it says that basically if something makes you think like bad, try to steer clear of that. And that's why I try to steer clear of dark things, because I know I used to be dark and I don't like that part of me. So that's also, it's not just, but I don't want to be a dark person. That's why I try to stay away from the horror and stuff as much as I do. It's because I don't want to go back to being that dark person.
Matt, you're not that fucking dark, and you never were that fucking dark, so stop beating yourself up over it. You're fine.
Used to be pretty dark, dude.
No,
I don't. No, you weren't in my head. Okay,
I guess maybe, but I don't know. Anyway,
also over the years, my not self-esteem, my sense of humor's just changed.
I've noticed. I've noticed. So everybody's pretty much touched on all their notes, and we're good on that, so we can move into our reviews and all that good stuff or whatever for this movie. Cool. Okay. So we're gonna go in and go around the table and do our ratings and our recommendations, and if we would watch again. So let's try to give a description before we rate of what you thought of the movie. So we'll start with Matt. Matt, tell us what you think. Would you watch again? And
On the question,
give us a reason, and then before you give us a rating.
So, would I watch again?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Would I tell people to watch? Yeah, I would say it's a good, decent film. You should see it. It's got an interesting storyline. I like the storyline to it. I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
On my rating, you know how I usually rate movies out of 5 or so.
Yeah.
Okay. This one, I give it a 4.
A 4?
4.
Because it didn't have a barbarian in it.
Lack of barbarian.
Lack of barbarians, man. There was no fucking false advertisement.
So if I tell him why,
Tell him why.
is it gonna change his rating?
It's not, because I already give my rating. But also there was also there were also just
I've changed my rating a few times actually.
There,
if you make a good point,
okay, if it's a good reason there was no barbarian or they named it barbarian.
that's why I'm saying. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me it. And I'll see if
I don't walk into this podcast thinking this is my rating. I wait to see what you guys have to say.
Especially for you. It's not part of the trivia. I looked this up just for you.
Well, thank you.
The Barbarian title was actually just a placeholder while the film was being written. Once completed, Zach Crager felt that it was fitting for a few reasons, so he left it. One, the very definition of a barbarian is someone who lives outside of civilized society, much like the residents in the neighborhood.
Okay.
2, the mother seems barbaric on the surface, animalistic, physical, and violent.
Yeah.
She causes the most terror and destruction that we see in the film and would definitely warrant the label. 3, the man, that we learn is Frank, they say it, you know, is the cause of the mother's condition and therefore the culprit behind the mayhem. His behavior could certainly be considered barbaric. However, the title is open to interpretation, but I felt that the title fit for those reasons.
Okay.
That's what I thought too.
Okay. I will give the movie a 5.
Oh, damn. Give it a whole point.
That's why I was trying to say, let me tell you why.
I do understand, and it makes sense. But
he wanted barbarians.
I wanted barbarians, and also the thing about
technically you got them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. Barbarian is the way, like what you see as a barbarian.
Well, there was a little bit more to that
with a
too.
club.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't going when I meant barbarian. I meant like the Viking term for barbarian, which
like
is like
Conan.
war. Yeah, because a lot of people think that barbarians are only Viking thing, and it's not a Viking thing. Like, I watched a show called Barbarians. It was about different... Basically, it was... At that time, it was also basically a warrior who was
I never
not...
really understood that, though, that they gave, like, you know, the Conan, the Barbarian, right? Like, that whole thing. But barbarian itself is a very negative term.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, it doesn't mean, like... Also, the definition that I read was always... It was basic... from a show I watched called Barbarian, I looked it up and it said that it was basically a warrior that wasn't part of the Roman or something else race at that time. It was like the two big militaries at that time.
I know that they considered what's his face a barbarian. He was northern.
Are you talking about Ivan the Boneless?
No.
Ragnar?
No. He was Asian, of Asian descent.
Oh, Attila the Hun.
Yeah. So he was...
That's what I'm saying. Like, it has such a negative connotation.
Yeah. And he was a ravager. He was a barbarian. He was very barbaric.
And that's what, like, from what I read, it was somebody who basically wasn't part of these two major armies, but then also turned into a bloodthirsty warrior.
Right.
And that's really what it turned out to be. And I can understand, and like the definition that he used, I can understand why the movie's called Barbarian then.
You're welcome.
But
I did that just for you.
Yeah. But, you know, I there's going to be people that don't know that, though. Like,
I mean, I honestly, I didn't really have to look that up. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
I needed a way to explain it.
Well, because you know me well enough to know that he's going to be upset because there's a barbarian.
Well, I knew that, like, because I watched that movie and walked away going, Barbarian is a fitting title. In my mind, I thought that was a fitting title because those fucking people are barbaric. Everything about that movie was barbaric, but I didn't know how to explain it in a way that
Well,
I don't have the words,
also
so
with
that's why I looked it up.
my thing is, when I think Barbarian, though, like you think, and yes, when I thought, yeah, okay, they could be considered barbaric. But also, when I think Barbarian, I, for some odd reason, go straight to Warrior.
I think that Barbarian is a very loose term.
Yeah.
It can be used
and that's
an array of ways, like different.
That's the Barbarian term I
different
went after was
contexts, I suppose.
Warrior.
Sure.
That was, like, the Barbarian I went after was the Warrior
Sure.
class. And, because also, I probably just, also I think D&D, Barbarian is a Warrior.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and,
Yeah, I get
and that's
that.
where my mind goes. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, like I said, though, I would tell people to see it because it's a good movie and it has and you don't see that storyline much except for, like, on Wrong Turn or something.
Right.
But that's a whole family.
Yeah.
Not
There
just,
would be a whole family here, but he apparently just kills them.
Yeah.
Yeah, or some. I mean, like
Yeah.
that would have been the part I would have liked to seen flesh out. In
Yeah,
the
like
backstory.
what
like
happened
what?
to-
That's what
Where's
I
the
wanted.
rest of them?
Are they
Yeah, I wanted to
spread
know
out?
what was more about him and what
Mm-hmm.
happened. Okay, so Matt gives it 5. Karen.
So, I really liked a lot of things about the plot. I liked the mid twist because, again, the marketing for this movie was great. It made you think it was one thing, and then midway through the movie, you're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
I
didn't know what to think of this movie.
I
Well,
think
I very much
switching of
walked-
times
but
was
even
weird.
but look, okay, just the trailer.
Yeah,
The trailer
it
alone,
made you think something.
it makes you think it's one thing, and that's the only trailer that I ever saw. I'm
Yeah,
sure
'cause-
there was probably more trailers,
Probably.
but I've only ever seen that one trailer, and I saw it twice.
See, that's the thing too. Is I saw that trailer and Joseph is sitting here and he goes, "Oh, Justin Long's in it." And I was like, "Where?"
Yeah, you seen for like a split second, but like so it made you believe one thing, and it was totally another. So that was great. And in this day and age, that's really hard to pull off. Really, really hard to pull off. I loved the that it didn't follow the formula that you thought it was going to follow. In this day and age, that's just great. I think that's great because most movies are, paint by number.
Yeah.
Let's
There's
be
so
honest.
many
They really are. They're
really
so
are.
paint by number,
Yeah.
so you can follow them. You could almost, say, okay, in the next scene, this is what's going to happen.
That's why I have such a problem with movies now, is because I can see what's going to happen in the end before the end happens.
Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, it had some issues. I could agree that the backstory really needed to be fleshed out. I don't want a whole lot more. I'll be honest. I don't
Right,
want a
yeah.
whole lot more. But it didn't make sense to me. Where's the rest of them? If this
Yeah.
was happening for 40 plus years, where's the other kids? Where's
And then
the,
he just puts a gun to his head and blows his brains out for.
Well, that made sense to me though. I mean,
Yeah,
the dude.
my
the
whole
dude,
thing there was didn't want to go to prison.
Yeah, dude's bedridden.
Yeah,
You could tell like he ain't. What's he gonna do?
When I
What's
thought
he gonna
he-
do at this point?
Yeah, when I thought he shot himself, I was all about he don't want to go to prison. That's what
The only thing I didn't understand is that he's so fucking sadistic. If he's so fucking sadistic, why wouldn't he just for shits and giggles shoot Justin Long and then shoot himself?
Right.
Yeah,
Just take one more person
well,
with
because
him,
when
right?
he first pulled the gun, I thought he was going to shoot Justin.
I did too.
Yeah.
But, well, I didn't think he was going to kill him. I think there would be like, he was going to try to, but,
Yeah.
So that, yeah, I guess that didn't make sense. I figured he was going to try, why wouldn't he try to take him out and then take himself out or whatever? But, so I liked the backstory, but it could have been fleshed out a little bit more. I really hated that Bill Skarsgård had to die. I really did. I
did
fucking
too.
love him.
I
did
haven't
too.
watched many movies with him,
but
except
I
for, like,
get
two
it.
episodes.
I get it. That's the draw, right? Like a lot of people went to see that movie for Bill
Yeah.
because he's so great.
It is
Like
pretty awesome.
I this movie, I'm not saying I wouldn't have seen it, but like that was a draw for me. I will watch anything with him in it.
Yeah.
I will pick movies specifically because he's in it.
Yeah, I do like Bill Skarsgård.
So
After he did Pennywise, I'm like, dude, you're. It showed his acting chops and that he can go the distance. So,
it's not just that for me. Like I saw him in what's that? Castle Rock, Villains.
yeah, I remember him in Villains.
Villains is great.
That was a good one,
Fucking
yeah.
great movie. All kinds of stuff. Hemlock Grove. He was the best part about it. especially season 2. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was the best part about pretty much anything I've ever seen with him in it. But anyway, so for a lot of the reasons, I really want to give this a higher rating, but like, I don't know. There was just like so many things that didn't quite add up.
It didn't mesh up.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna go 6.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you watch again?
Yeah, I would.
You would watch again.
Yeah, I would watch it again.
Would you recommend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I almost feel like the more I watch, like if I watched it again, maybe I'd change my rating. Maybe I'd feel better about it. Maybe
I even mentioned, I said that earlier too. I said I think I need to watch this movie a second time.
Yeah.
So.
Because I didn't hate it. I almost feel like I'm being too judgmental. Like I feel bad about my rating. I feel bad because the plot of this movie alone, the very twists and turns that it takes, I feel like I should give it a higher rating. This is a completely original and amazing.
I see. This is where okay. So for me, I'm gonna say that for me that I had some drawbacks. I think that there were a few plots in the holes.
Yeah.
I thought there were a few holes in the plot, and then also I thought that the overall storyline was pretty cool, good concept. Like it was too wrong turnish for me though. It was like, okay, you're taking a concept.
But I kind of like that.
I do too, because it's something that doesn't happen very often. You don't see a lot of movies like that.
And when done right, it's great.
I know one thing. I said, so they definitely just remodeled this one house in this neighborhood for this movie. You know what I mean? They went in and remodeled this house. Like, hey, we need to remodel this house because we're going to film here in this shithole. So I thought that was kind of neat.
And that's like one other thing. Like where in the hell? Like who did that?
That's what I wanted
because that it's like somebody knew what was going on down there and was like, hey, we're gonna lure people in.
Yeah, like why didn't that the guy knew what was going on? Why didn't he tell anybody? Like the homeless.
He tried.
Guy.
Hey, little girl.
Hey, girl. Yeah, in a very creepy way. You want some candy?
Yeah.
I wanted more Richard Brake, a lot more Richard Brake actually, because that whenever they went to the flashback back in the 80s, I was like, oh yes, Richard Brake, fuck yeah, bitches. And I even wrote that down, Richard Brake, bitches. And I was excited to see him and to see what they were going to do with him, but he had like 2 lines. He walks into this house, unlocks the, you know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, you could have done so much more with his character. Give him another 15 or 20 minutes of screen time in the 80s, or even just through the passage of time, anything. Give me that.
I agree. They could have fleshed it out a little bit more.
Anything. And just, you know what I mean? And that was the biggest flaw that I saw in the movie. I loved Bill Skarsgård's character because he seemed like a really cool dude. And that's something you don't get out of Bill Skarsgård very often. Usually if he's some kind of crazy dude or whatever, you know what I mean?
Villains.
In Villains, he was still crazy.
Why is it that every time he's a good person, he gets killed?
He does.
Why?
I know. But
is that in his contract? Like, when I'm a bad guy, let me live?
I guess, yeah. So the girl, Georgina's character, I really, really liked her. And I think that she was...
well, technically, he got killed in it.
I guess. And then Justin Long's character, like even Justin Long, dude, he was the biggest douche in this entire movie, but he was still the best character because he was fucking funny and he brought like this whole, he brought a little bit of comedy and I would say he brought like a little excitement to the movie because he was fun to see on film. It was fun to watch. Because it was always like him being a jackass, you know what I mean? Like he didn't even give a fuck that there was a bed covered in blood and liquids and whatever else happened on that bed and a fucking all that. He's moving this bed out of the way so he can measure out the square footage of this room.
Yeah.
Didn't even care about what was in the room or anything. And then he looks down in the hole and he automatically gets his tape measure out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's a dumbass.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And then he sees the cages and he's like, what the fuck? Then he just keeps measuring.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, I liked him. He was very naive. He was definitely a douchebag. And the movie definitely needed his character, for sure, to make it work as well as it did. But for me, I would say I would recommend that you watch the movie and check it out for yourself, because I would love to hear other people's opinions on the movie and what they think and see what they get from it. And I would definitely watch it again for sure.
Yeah, I feel like I'm
I feel like I need to watch it again,
I
honestly,
feel like I'm
because
selling it short.
yeah, I do feel like I'm selling it a little short. And
this would be one of the movies, like, you know how we, like, a lot of them were like, oh, well, no. This one I would have to say, like, even though I did a rating, like, this one I would really say you have to watch it and rate it for yourself.
yeah, really, you do, because everybody's going to walk away with a different opinion on this one. Like, this is one that I could see people being divided on.
Sure. Yeah.
Even if you don't love it or hate it, you could find yourself somewhere in the middle on this one.
That's the problem. Like, I liked it, but I rated it low.
Yeah, that's the thing, is because
I liked the movie.
Because with me, I'm gonna have to go at I'm gonna have to give it and this is the highest rating. I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
I almost went there.
I gave it a 6.5
bad.
because I gave it a 6.5 because I think that there's something more there that I'm missing in this movie
I do
that
too.
I think that I need to go back and rewatch. And I'll give it a 6.5 because it's rewatchable to me.
It is. That's the thing. Like, I feel like I'm selling it short, and
And
you know,
and I'm on this page of, if you liked Wrong Turn or The Hills Have Eyes,
oh yeah,
or anything like that, you're gonna like this movie,
yeah,
because it may not be, in West Virginia, in the sticks in West Virginia,
Sure.
or out in the middle of the desert, you know what I mean, or anything
which
like
makes
that.
it a little more compelling.
Yeah,
because
which
it's
makes it a
happening
little,
in a city.
Well, I wouldn't even say, it's kind of
Well,
rural.
I mean, yeah, it is now, I guess, but like it.
But like, if you're gonna walk away with your own opinion on this movie, you're either gonna like it or hate it, or you could be somewhere in the middle, like, it was okay.
Yeah.
For me, I'm on the page of, like, I need to watch it again because I need to.
I need to like it.
I need to like. Not even that. I
Well,
need to like it. I need to
really
better
like it.
understand it. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm at with it. So I'll give it a 6.5, and I would recommend you watch it. And I would recommend.
I feel guilty.
and
Like, I feel
I
guilty.
do feel guilty too, because I feel like there's more to this movie than I'm giving it credit.
I'm being
for.
too harsh.
I'm being too harsh
yeah.
on it. Yeah, and I really do think I'm being too harsh on this movie. And I'm like that with some movies. I'm like, I feel like I'm just being too hard on it. But then again, I'm really lax on a lot of movies too. Like, I love *Malignant*, and a lot of people fucking hated that movie.
I didn't hate it. I just
So-
didn't care for it.
I love that
I
movie.
don't know if I've ever seen it.
But so those are our scores. Matt gave it a 5, Karen gave it a 6, and I gave it a 6.5. Honestly, I think if I rewatched it, it's kind of like a Tarantino movie. The more you watch it, the more I think you enjoy it. You know what I mean? The more you get from it. So
I don't.
you don't know? I don't know
No,
either.
because the plot points that stick with you.
Yeah, but if you go back and rewatch it, maybe you'll understand those.
Yeah, maybe
certain
there's
plot
something we
points a little
missed
bit
the first
better.
time around.
Yeah, and like I said, because I even said that because we just watched this it literally just came out last night.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a chance to watch it more than once because I'm a busy dude.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I think that if
Well, I can't watch something back to back like that because I
can't
get
either.
bored.
Yeah, I'll
I'll
too
get bored and I won't.
then
pay
I will give it a
attention.
low rating.
Yeah, I won't pay attention.
So it's something that I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch, and I couldn't do it before this podcast because it just came out on HBO Max yesterday.
So please give it a chance.
Yeah, give the movie a chance for sure.
It really should. Hey, I mean, we're probably being too harsh.
We probably are being too harsh on the movie. But I don't know. And if you're listening to this, let us know what you think of the movie, because I'd love to hear other people's opinions on it.
I did like it.
I did like it too.
We didn't do our little thing on. Oh, well, because it just came out, so.
What, reviews?
Yeah.
We're going to.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, we're going to. This is where we get into our Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic, whichever one we decide
I have
to
absolutely
use.
no clue what other people are thinking on this one, because I don't even know what I'm thinking.
I don't really care what other people think.
No, I'm saying, like, how in the hell am I supposed to guess what other people are thinking when I don't even know what the fuck's going on in my own head about it? Because I want it. I don't know.
Well, let's check. we're gonna do Rotten Tomatoes this week.
They're the percentage, right?
Yeah, they're both percentages.
Yeah.
And you said the movie
Okay.
we're picking for next week isn't on any streaming services?
No, I'll let you borrow it.
Okay.
So, all right. So, critic reviews are 161 reviews. Why don't you guys give us what you think? Matt, you want to go first?
I want to say they probably gave it around 50 or so. No, 40. I meant 40.
Okay.
40.
65.
65. You're both wrong. Karen, you're closer though. 92%. This movie is certified fresh.
Really?
Yeah, certified fresh.
By the critics.
By the critics.
Wow.
Critic consensus: smart, darkly humorous, and above all, scary. Barbarian offers a chilling and consistently unpredictable thrill ride for horror fans.
Wait, time out. They said darkly humorous.
Yeah.
So, in a woke culture, they thought the rapist was funny.
I don't think that they were talking about the rapist.
That's the only funny guy. There's literally no other humor in that movie but Justin Long.
Don't click me.
I was playing with the fucking microphones.
I'll do what
Matthew.
the heck I want. I'm a 38-year-old adult.
ASMR over here. Here's your ASMR. He's over here playing with the fucking microphone. Anyway, I don't know. I don't agree with the 92% for this movie. Whatever though.
I want to though.
I do too, but I just don't see it. Not for this. It was original in its own in its own
Very
few certain
original.
ways,
It's
but,
just the
but there's so many holes to this movie and shit. But you know what though? Fuck the critics. Let's go on to 1,000 verified audience ratings.
The audience ratings are any better.
Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're more
Oh,
honest.
audience! I'm going 90% on
You
the
think
audience.
90?
I think the audience went 90.
What about you, Matt?
I can't say any. I think Karen's probably right.
Well, you got to give
With
me a
90.
score.
Well, fine, 80.
80. Matt would win this one.
Really? They went lower?
70%.
Wow.
Yeah. So, audience says, the less you know going into Barbarian, the better. But be prepared for an ending that might rub you the wrong way.
I don't think the ending.
I think that
bad.
I think the ending would have rubbed you the wrong way in the sense that Justin Long takes a fucking dark ass turn right there at the end, and
I was not surprised with his turn.
Not me.
Nobody
It
should
threw
be
me. It
surprised.
did, his turn did throw me for a bit of a loop.
Not me.
Not me. Like the fact that he threw her off.
They
was
set
not
you up
surprising
for
to
that.
me at all.
They set you up for that. That whole movie, they set you up for the fact that he is a douchebag.
Yeah. I'm trying to find, because I'm almost positive that the guy's voice on the phone I'm not seeing it though. So Bill Skarsgård was one of the executive
Yeah, he
producers
was.
on this one.
Mm-hmm. He usually is, especially if he's not in it for very long. Or
Yeah,
he's
if he's
not
got
in
money
it.
to throw at it, why not?
Yeah.
Turn a profit on it. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'll give it another watch and rejudge it again. I don't know. Maybe my score will change the second time I watch it. So.
That's what I'm saying. I really want to.
But all right. So anyway, there's your scores and your reviews. What kind of trivia we got for this one?
Not much, because I mean
It's new,
brand new,
yeah.
so there's not much to be. But so Zach Krieger, however you say it.
I think it's Krager.
I think it's Krieger too. He got the idea after reading a book called The Gift of Fear by Gavin Odebecker, I guess. Odebecker? Yeah. This book encourages women to trust their intuition when confronted by obviously dangerous men. So he wrote a short story that consisted of a conversation where a woman continues to ignore...
It's a feminist book.
I love how you just whisper that to me. Like, it's a feminist book.
He wrote a short story that consisted of a conversation where a woman continues to ignore a mounting series of red flags. And he continued to work on it until he got to a broader story. So that's why in the beginning Keith is supposed to give you those creepy vibes. was sort of
Okay,
that.
so and that's
Basic-
why she wouldn't. What she went into the cave even though she knew not to.
Correct.
Shit like that.
And that's why
Correct.
I'm saying it's a feminist book, is because it's all women are strong, which women are strong, and all men are bad.
Basically, the whole thing is that it's supposed to say, you know, like she didn't trust her instinct the whole time.
No,
And look
yeah.
where it got her.
Right.
So anyway, but that's why that's what I was telling you earlier. That's why Keith gives you the creepy vibes at the beginning, is that it's sort of based on that short story where they were having this conversation. He's giving off some red flags, yet she decides to stay. So
And
it's
like I
sort
said,
of playing on that.
I'm saying it's a feminist book because it's one of those all men are evil.
I don't think that's what it said at all. It just said that trust your intuition.
It's kind of saying all men are evil.
I don't think
That's
it
what I
said that
got
at all.
from it, Karen. That's what I fucking got from it, Karen.
I don't think
Are we
that's what it
so
said at all.
fucking evil, dude?
Where did it say
I know, I'm
anything
just-
about?
Like also, you know, I
It
was
said
also
trust your
I
intuition.
I do say with Bill Stargard or whatever. I was saying in the
Dude,
in the beginning of the
Fucking
movie
like-
to him, I was actually thinking, you better do it. You better do it. And what I was thinking is, you better do is, no, dude, you offer her the bed, you sleep on the freaking couch.
but you know he was trying to hit that. That's why whenever he was like helping her with her blanket and stuff, he's like looking at her like, yep, so
Yeah, I got real awkward there.
yeah, it got real awkward there. I think even she was thinking it like, should I?
I'd
Now, see,
probably bangs Bill
I
Skarsgård.
was
Probably
actually
would.
thinking that was going to happen. And I was like, I'm going to have some notes if it does. If they end up having sex, I'm going to have some big notes on it.
Another thing I didn't understand were his night terrors. What was that about?
Yeah, they never
Yeah.
explained
He
that.
never explained any of that.
They
He's
never
like having
talked
these
about
night terrors.
it.
And then
And
he
he
wakes
gets
up pissed.
so
He gets
mad.
mad at her.
Mad, yeah.
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, dude, for all you know, she was trying to come in and jump on your dick.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't know.
yeah. You don't know. She might have been like, oh, well, I was scared and lonely. And, you know what I mean?
Hold me, big boy.
Hold me, big boy. You don't know. He was like, what are you doing? What,
fuck are you
what the fuck
doing?
are you doing?
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, damn. Like,
Yeah, I
and then the
don't-
next day he wakes up and acts like none of that happened. Like,
Yeah.
so I had a great time last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You know what I mean?
I would have woke him up and he would have been like, what are you doing? I've been like, you're screaming in your sleep.
Yeah, she
What's
yeah,
wrong
that
with
didn't
you?
make any sense. Either. She like tries to play it off
Yeah,
like she
it
did
was like
something
she
wrong.
was. It was her fault or
yeah,
something. Like,
I'd be like, "Fuck you! You were screaming. I heard you from the
yeah,
bedroom."
Yeah, you woke me up and my door's open. You fucking creep.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I would have been like, yeah, I would have gotten mad. Too.
yeah. My door's open. You're out here making weird fucking noises. You woke me up.
I'm just trying to fucking sleep, and you're the one out here screaming like an idiot.
Yeah.
So spoiler, I guess. Not. I mean, you've heard us
Yeah,
fucking
we've heard
talk
it,
about the
yeah.
movie, but Zach Krager describes the film's visual representation of the house as a Fincher movie on the top floor and a Raimi movie under the house. I just thought that was kind of neat.
Okay.
The Hollywood expose on AJ in the movie is written by Kim Masters, who is a real-life reporter at the trade publication, and she actually broke the story on Harvey Weinstein and has become known for breaking stories about men in film and TV industry
Oh, really?
who have been accused of sexual assault.
Oh, that's
so they
pretty cool.
used her because
Yeah.
she's known.
She
for
knows.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Harvey Weinstein. What a fucking douche.
Right.
I hope he fucking dies.
I've been seeing a lot
I hope
of
he gets
stuff-
raped in prison.
I've been seeing, he ain't going to make it, dude. Have you seen him? He looks like he's dying.
Well, they don't.
Good.
They don't put those guys in Gen Pop anymore.
No,
so.
I know. I
Well,
wish they
also,
would. Though.
have you guys, I've been seeing some stuff about Danny Masterson.
I have too. He's back in court and shit for it. I think he's coming up on sentencing or something.
You know, I heard that the Scientologist tried to scare off like a whole bunch of people who like said that he did that.
course
I heard
they
the
did.
Scientologist tried
Yeah, they'll try to pay that shit off, dude.
Yeah.
For real. Scientologists are weird.
Originally, the role of AJ was offered to Zac Efron, but he turned it down.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I
Well,
agree.
actually, Zac Efron did a pretty good job as Ted Bundy. If you ever saw that one,
I like
He did
Zac
really good.
Efron, but I don't think. I think that picking Justin Long for this one was.
Well, originally, I guess AJ was not quite the character that we got. So he was kind of when Justin Long expressed interest in the movie, it was kind of tweaked a little bit. I mean, he was always going to be a douchebag, but it was tweaked a little bit, and we got Justin Long. Nobody does a douchebag like Justin Long, though, so ultimately it was a better choice.
I think that Zac Efron could pull off a pretty good douchebag, but I don't know. Zac Efron, dude, he's looking pretty goddamn weird these days with his plastic surgeries
But
and shit.
the problem is that Zac Efron pulls off a douchebag that you hate.
That's true. Yeah.
Justin Long pulls off one that you kind of go, oh.
Yeah, that you kind of be like, that's funny.
Yeah, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was happy when he died because he fucking deserved it, but, you know.
In the most vulgar way possible.
Yeah. So, and Zach Krager is good friends with Jordan Peele, and he allowed him to see an early version of the film.
Is that why she says nope?
Yeah, probably.
Because I was wondering that. I was like,
name drop.
That took me right to the movie Nope.
No, I didn't even think about that.
She said nope, and I was like, dude, is that a callback of some guy?
I never even thought about that.
I did kind of think she said nope weird.
No, because I think that I didn't think about that because whenever I'm watching something and I get creeped out, I deny reality. That's my thing. Like nope, nope, that's not happening. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's always been my reaction. So I guess I.
But that's the whole point of the movie Nope. And I liked, and they say that a couple times in the movie. And so whenever she said that, I was like, is this a reference?
Yeah,
so,
I wouldn't have even put two and two together just because that's something I've always done. So
have you seen Nope?
No, not yet. But
so if you would, you'd be like, I understand. You'd better understand it.
Maybe. And the address 476 Barbary Street is for the year 476, which was the year that the barbarians invaded Rome.
Why?
Because they're barbarians.
Yeah, but why? Do they even make that? Like, why would they even use that as that's the reference to the year? Like, that's the year that they burned. Like, why use something so historical for a reference?
Time out.
Like, how many people knew that 427
time out.
was the year?
Time out. You're mad that they put an actual reference to barbarians in the movie when you're mad that they didn't put a barbarian in it.
I'm not mad. I think it's funny that they're using a historical reference in a movie that has no historical...
Well, I can see how that would get fleshed out, though.
But also, how many people are going to know that?
Well, no, that's not the point. I can see how that would get fleshed out because they're talking about this movie and they go, well, what's the address going to be?
Yeah.
And somebody might know, well, what about 476? That was the year that, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody might know that. Like, I would know the most random things about something, and, you know, we could be talking about it, and we're trying to, like, figure out something for something. I'd be like, well, what about this? Because this happened.
But, like, in most movies, you catch references. How is somebody going to go, 420? Oh, that's the year of the barbarians. Like, that's
I'm not saying they will. I'm just telling you that that's where it came from.
I just think it's funny because they went through that whole thing with... It's just funny to me that they went with it like because references are usually references to other movies or something, not like an actual year.
A historical event, yeah. Especially one so, I don't know, so just not in place with this movie.
Yeah.
I understand what he's saying, but I also understand why it was a reference, you know what I mean?
I don't see...
I understand why it's a reference. I just... To me, it's funny.
It's very. What he's saying is very fucking random.
I mean, I guess
it's very fucking
it makes
random.
sense.
No, if I was on the board of the movie and they said, "Oh, well, that's the," I'd be like, "Okay, yeah, that's
right,
fine."
Yeah.
But to me, it's just funny because, like, usually when you hear, "Oh, they're doing a movie reference," it's a reference to another.
Maybe it was because they named the street Barbary, and they were like, "Yeah, we gotta put something in there for, you know, barbarians."
Barbarians, yeah.
Because we're obviously using the street name as.
You know what I mean? What I'm saying is it's just funny because it's one of those things you don't really think about when you hear about a reference.
Maybe. I don't know. That's it.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Alrighty. That puts us at about a 2-hour mark. Karen, what are we doing next week?
Serial Mom.
We are watching Serial Mom. Why are you unzipping me?
Whoa! He's got a zipper on his arm.
Yeah.
On a
jacket. I wanted people to wonder.
Nah, man. The pants is next.
Can
Mouth hugs.
Can I leave the room?
I'm moving zippers.
Mouth hugs.
Can I leave the room? Please.
Okay. So we're watching Serial Mom next week from what year?
This is from
1990 something.
Early 90s. I'm thinking
it doesn't
early
even
90s.
show it on
I bet
here.
it is early 90s.
Probably.
I'm going to go
94.
Damn, I was going to say 93.
So we're close to mid.
Directed by John Waters. Runtime 1 hour and 34 minutes.
John Waters, huh? Okay.
Oh yeah, it's a John Waters movie.
Okay.
How you like that?
Whatever.
You know, though, when I think of a movie like Serial Mom, I also think of another movie that's, oh gosh, what is that? It's like called Meet the Applegates.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie too.
Or The Burbs.
Oh, The Burbs is a great movie.
The Burbs is such a good movie.
Take me to the hospital. I've been blown up. That's my favorite one.
What are you gonna read?
You want me to read the synopsis?
You want to? Yeah, go ahead.
The synopsis is that she's the perfect all-American parent, a great cook and homemaker, a devoted recycler, and a woman who will literally kill to keep her family happy.
There you go. Next week, Karen will be hosting Serial Mom.
Don't get too excited about it. I'm not.
And this is not a
very
Halloween
good.
pick. We're done with Halloween picks. This Barbarian was our
I'm just
last.
fucked up in the head.
She just likes
You'll be
weird
able to
fucking
tell that.
movies.
You'll be able to tell it's not that we're not doing themes when I give my movie next week.
Okay.
Just saying. I'll throw it in.
Shrouded in mystery.
Ooh.
Stay tuned, people.
I hardly ever know what we're gonna do until the day of.
I literally knew like 10 minutes before I got here. I
Yeah.
wrote down 3 movies and was
Yeah,
like, I
one of
don't know
these.
what to pick.
So
One of
technically, you
these.
didn't know.
No. I knew
you
out of
just
3.
knew that you had 3 that you wanted.
Yeah.
So come join us next week when we do Serial Mom, and this one has who in it? I don't remember her name.
Fuck, I just.
All I know is it's
Matthew
got
Lillard,
Matthew Lillard's in it.
Matthew
His young
Lillard.
handsome
and
ass.
Ricky Lake.
And Ricky Lake.
Like, and the big people: Kathleen Turner,
Yeah.
Sam Watterson, Justin Whalen, Tracy Lords, lots of people.
Yep.
Suzanne Summers.
Suzanne Summers is in that?
Oh yeah.
You know what's funny is Serial Mom. I remember the end. I don't know why. I'm not gonna say
No,
anything.
he's not seen it.
I just remember the end.
No spoilers.
Like for some odd reason, it's the part of the movie that I remember.
I love my favorite movies to do on this podcast are comedy movies
Yeah.
because we get the most laughs out of it. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
have the most fun with reviewing those.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I don't know. We got a lot of laughs out of the 1959 version of House on.
No, it was definitely the 90s version we got more laughs
I think we
out
got
of.
laughs out of both of them. Yeah, that was a good one. All right, so next week, Serial Mom. Join us right here on the Bonsai Movie Crew. I don't know what voice that is.
Yeah,
I'm getting worse with these voices. All right, we'll see you next week.
Next
I
week.
will see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
That's right. He's the stalker.
Yeah, I'm the stalker. All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.